Today's first period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. And by Papa John's. The day after every Flyers win, get 50% off your online order at papajohns.com using promo code FLYERS. Lots of youth in attendance here. Martin Luther King Day matinee, 8th time the Islanders have played an afternoon game on this day when we honor Martin Luther King.
Let's take a look at our key starting goaltenders for the Philadelphia Flyers. Ray Emery back in goal after picking up the win against the New York Islanders in relief of Steve Mason just a couple of days ago. Anders Nilsson gets the start for the New York Islanders, looking for his first win of the season. Ray Emery ready for this one as we get ready for the drop of the puck.
Final time these teams meet this season. The Flyers trying to sweep the season series for the 4th time. And it would be the 3rd season series sweep in the last 6 years for the Flyers over the Islanders. But you can bet the Islanders will be a very hungry team here this afternoon. They have been playing well, and they want to get back at the Flyers for the loss on Saturday. Look at the Flyer accommodations at the top of your screen. Flyers in their road white jerseys, dark uniforms for the homestanding Islanders, who are back from a 6-game road trip, in fact. Here's Matt Reed up the left wing for Philadelphia. Reed on the backhand will send it in on Nielsen. He'll glove that one and hang right on to it.
Fans here today's NHL Officials of the Day Award. Referee introduction brought to you by Ned.
There's Greg Berube behind the Flyers bench again after orchestrating that comeback victory against the Islanders. It was all Islanders in the second period, and it was Greg Berube that made the goaltender change and really seemed to get the Flyers playing better defensive hockey, and they picked up the goals they needed in the 3rd period to get the win.
He still wasn't a very happy guy. He doesn't want to have to keep coming from behind.
Michael Raffles' shot there goes off a stick and into the safety netting. We're looking at the Islander line combinations. Jack Kemp put those together. Everything's the same for these two clubs in terms of the player personnel.
Berube staying with Jay Rosehill, had a very spirited fight with Eric Bolton of the New York Islanders, and Rosehill has provided the Flyers with some good punch on numerous occasions this year.
I like that play on words there.
And it's always Jonesy. He's a wordsmith. We know that. Josh Bailey getting that puck out to center ice. They go teaming it back to get it for Philadelphia. Veteran defenseman leaving the puck for Coburn. He'll get it to Giroux in ahead. Voracek not ready for that pass. It goes all the way down the ice, and so icing is the call. Gives us a chance to show you the virtuous scratches from the respective lineups here this afternoon. And as I said, no change from the other night. Of course, the Flyers still without Zach Rinaldo, and then Gustafsson, Vandevelde, and Gill are coach's decision scratches. Travis Hamonic still out for the Islanders. Lubomir Visnovsky also out with an injury, although he skated for the first time yesterday at practice, and he's hoping to be back in time for the Olympics. There's a point shot by Thomas Hickey that is smothered by Ray Emery, but when you take Hamonic and Visnovsky out of the mix for the Islanders in the blue line, that's a significant loss.
Yeah, big losses there, no question about it. Both players add different elements. Hamonic can play at both ends of the ice, a big physical force, and Visnovsky, an outstanding power play quarterback on the blue line.
Ready for the draw to the right of Emery, and the puck sitting in the circle. Turning with it was Colin McDonald for a shot that deflected and went wide, and now Luke Schenn gains control. He'll play it to the other side of the ice. It's chopped at by Hartman all the way down. It goes. No icing here. Nielsen will steer to Hickey. Thomas Hickey will size things up. Pass on the right wing. And that one's set all the way down by Carpenter, the defenseman, but it's icing. So now the face-off back into the Islanders zone. Each team has shot here through the first minute and 39 seconds of play. 1 o'clock start. Flyers 2-2-1 in afternoon games this year. Much of a difference, Jonesy?
I don't think so. I think the players are used to it now. There's a lot more afternoon games, and for the Flyers, a ton more before this season comes to an end.
Tradition for the Islanders to play the afternoon game on this day. Calendar year. Here's Colin McDonald centering. Grabner was there, but it went off of Emery out the other side. And now the Flyers move back at the counter rush. Schenn was checked. Simmons coughs it up at the line. Casey Cizikas to it, but he is then checked, and Simmons gets back to it. In across the Islander line. Simmons drops it off. Schenn then had his shot deflect and go out of play.
Islanders get an early opportunity to start this game, and Ray Emery in net there. As you can see, the pass across the crease there. Emery, not sure if he had to make a save on that one or not. It looked like it went past the driving winger, Grabner.
Well, Schenn did a great job. That forced that pass to go up and over, and I think that's why Grabner didn't get the opportunity, because the pass just went right by him.
Calvin DeHaan to the puck for the Islanders off of the defensive zone draw, and he'll slide it out to the neutral zone. Flyers have been dominant on faceoffs in their last 2 games, well over 60%. That puck skipped out of play, so we'll get a faceoff out in the neutral zone. And Adam Hall leads all NHL players in faceoff percentage in the month of January.
Won a big draw in the previous meeting with the New York Islanders. Ended up scoring after winning the faceoff on a redirection from the point shot. Picked up his 2nd goal of the season.
Invaluable to the Flyers for his penalty killing and the faceoffs. And there's a look at his faceoff numbers for the season. Anytime you're over 60% this deep into a season, you know you're good at it.
No question about it. And right now, a warning for Eric Bolton, who tripped up Steve Downing before that puck was dropped. And the referee comes and says, "I'm telling you right now, I'm going to call you."
Well, they had a go at it the other night as far as that type of thing at the face-off, and Downey came swinging with the stick that day. So St. Laurent, he's going to grab onto it and say, "Boys, don't be doing that anymore, or you're going to the box."
Cizikas will tip the puck deep, and now the Flyers able to get to it. Strike for Downey, and Downey will throw it out into the middle. Jay Rosehill will pump it into the Islanders zone and chase with Don, the rookie defenseman. And now Hall in there as well. Matt Donovan. This is a young defense pair for the Islanders. They're using as their shutdown pair at times, with the injuries to the veterans we talked about already. Donovan sending it into the Philadelphia zone. Emery will play it to Grossman. And so Nick Grossman starts up the right wing feed. Couturier playing it into the middle. There's LeCavalier, shot blocked, bounces back out. Here's Coburn flipping one, and that's snared by Nielsen. And again, he'll hang on to it.
Saturday's game had a lot of rough stuff between the Islanders and the Philadelphia Flyers. Lots of body contact. Bolton providing some of those hits. Scott Hartnell was outstanding in the hits department. Made a lot of contact throughout the game. Islanders responded, and a real spirited bout between Rosehill and Bolton that really got both teams up on the benches.
And you sometimes can expect that to intensify in the second game of a home-and-home series. Coburn shot, and the save by Nielsen. Couturier went to the net, may have gotten a piece of that.
He did.
But the big goaltender able to make the save.
Absolutely did. He got himself, after winning the faceoff, that puck's going to end up on Coburn's stick, and he's going to wind up and let it go to watch. Couturier gets himself into that tripod position, faces the shooter, and then he's going to have a real good opportunity with good hand-eye coordination besides being drilled from behind.
Yeah, nice job by Couturier after winning that faceoff, getting position in front, and good hand-eye coordination there to tip that puck to his own legs.
Alaposo moves out with the puck down. Donovan in on the rush. Will jam it around behind the Philadelphia net. Couturier tipped it, but Oposo gathers. He'll wind. He'll fire! And the save by Emery as he had some traffic to deal with. Now Coburn will watch his Timonen. Plays it to Matt Reed. Reed is checked. The Islanders get it back. Donovan down low in the zone. And it could not come up with that. Now it's LeCavalier. Play it across ice. Timonen ahead. Knocked down out of midair by Reed to Couturier. Hit across the line. He's got 2 Islanders to deal with, and Donovan takes him off the puck. Now it bounces behind the cage, and Oposo is there. He'll drop it back to Donovan, and the defenseman plays it to center. And it's gobbled up by Mazzaros. He's charging in. He'll wind and fire, and that one off his stick and out of play. I chuckle because anytime he gets the puck these days, he is charging full steam ahead.
It makes it so easy for the forwards that are playing out there with Mazzaros, and recognizing that every time he gets the puck in the neutral zone, he's going forward with it. Outstanding his last couple of weeks of play, and picked up 2 goals on Saturday. Just like that, jumping through in the neutral zone and making things happen.
Better than a point-a-game pace over his last 10 contests. 11 points in his last 10 games. for a guy who had been scratched while healthy 20 times. Luke Schenn shot and the save made by Nielsen. Clutterbuck will get the puck and send it across ice. Flyers are right there to play it back through the neutral zone. Approaching the 4.5-minute mark of this first period. No score. Glad you could join us in Comcast Sportsnet. Finds Nielsen a shot that is gloved easily by Emery, and he'll squeeze it.
Well, the Flyers face off against the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow at 7 o'clock at the Wells Fargo Center. There's still time to snag a great seat. Call now 215-218-PUCK for the latest ticket options. And of course, the Hurricanes, another Metropolitan Division rival. The Flyers will have big points on the line there tomorrow night.
As always, plenty of orange here in the house at Nassau Coliseum. And a big hit on Grossman knocks him down. The puck does go out to center ice, reaching for Simmons, and he'll float one deep to Islander ice. Braden Schenn trying to get into the forecheck. Ryan Straight, though, got there first. Went to the board. Simmons getting in the Islanders' way over there. Battle ensuing for the puck. It kicks across ice, and Straight is able to gather. Pass back to Andrew McDonald. Handcuffed him some. And he pays for it as he takes a big hit. Braden Schenn. Now it's Brock Nelson out to center ice on the left wing. Nelson goes deep with it, and he's cut off by the former Islander captain, Mark Streit, who gets the puck and starts the other way. Streit with 4 assists against his former team in the first 3 games of this season series. And that shot by Hartnell batted away by Nielsen. Back around behind the net, stepping in front, Schenn! He stopped, second crack at it, and Nielsen able to cover. Good work by the Flyers down low there, and now some pushing and shoving in front. Downey in the middle of things.
Schenn's going to come out of nowhere. Couple of body checks to be able to be taken and given here. Right here, he's going to start it all off. The puck's going to end up behind the net, but he's going to be the guy that's going to benefit. Watch him come out of nowhere. His line mates are right there. Strike's even there from the blue line, and Nielsen had to come up with a couple of good saves because Schenn had a couple of whacks at it.
They'll take a well-deserved rest. But the bench, Flyers now with 7 shots on goal. Always vocal on the bench, Wayne Simmons. And for the Flyers, good start was certainly one of their missions here today. Eric Bolton checked by Luke Schenn and taken off the puck. Schenn then takes a hit back from Matt Martin, the NHL hits leader, but the Flyers do get the puck to center. Physicality picking up. Usually does when Martin's on the ice. He doesn't only lead the NHL in hitting, he's almost lapped the field. There's an interception and a shot that goes wide off the stick of Jay Rosehill. Downey crashing and after takes a high hit from Martin. They're all wrapped up. Gloves are off. Rosehill and Carkner now will go. Martin's trying to get Downey to go as well. Carkner getting some rights in as Rosehill never really got his balance and goes down. Downey and Martin did not ever drop the gloves to go, and they're being told to leave the premises by the referee. Justin St. Pierre and Dennis Leroux are your referees here today.
You wonder if Martin's going to get an extra one here or not. Not sure if Downey's going to head to the box. Martin was pretty aggressive with Steve Downey. Rosehill and Carkner dropped the gloves. And during that process, I think Martin took a couple extra shots at Downey, and the Flyers should get a power play opportunity. Both referees discussing it as we speak. There's the contact from Downey. Good clean check, and Martin comes in late. And a couple of face washes and a couple extra shoves as Rosehill and Carkner drop the gloves beside him.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're exactly right. Justin St. Pierre was very emphatic. He came over and he just started pointing at Martin. You see the original combatants here. Carkner is going to go after Rosehill. You see him got a bit of a jump on Rosehill. Rosehill couldn't get his glove off. So Carkner landed about a couple before Rosehill actually got back into it. By that time, Rosehill couldn't recover. But you see right there, Carkner in the box, Rosehill in the box, and Martin, like Jonesy said, gets the extra.
Good discipline by Steve Downey there in drawing the penalty. That'll make his head coach happy, and the Flyers will try to make Martin pay here.
Greg Berube as the game face on. Working that gum, too. So now the Flyers to the power play, and they're on the road. And that has been a good combination this year. As they win the draw and go right to work. Here's Giroux. Down low, Simmons. Thought about trying to step in front, but didn't think the coverage was loose enough, so we'll try again. Here's Giroux holding, firing, save made by Nielsen. He has it in the glove.
Good decision there by Claude Giroux, recognizing traffic in the front of the net. And Simmons providing the screen. Nielsen with a nice save.
And Straight was right there too. So when that shot came through, Nielsen, who's a big man, down into that butterfly, just to be able to saw that puck come in the last second.
You had to look at the numbers. Flyers power play in the middle of the pack overall. 5th ranked though on the road. They've been dynamic on the road. Here's one reason why. Simmons, but he's denied down low by Nielsen. Now Giroux having a little trouble with the puck, has to jab it to Simmons. Back to Giroux along the wall. To the point, teaming in across for Voracek. Voracek shot, and the save by Nielsen as Simmons tried to get there for a redirect, and the bouncing puck is played out in center by Timonen, and he'll send it all the way back in on Emery. And now gets it back to Kimo, and they'll look to start the power play rush. Flyers already double figures in shots. We're not even 7 minutes into this first period. Voracek cut off, but able to maneuver the puck to the corner. Tried to center it. Simmons thought there was a man behind him. He wasn't. And so the puck drifts out to the neutral zone. Flyers 2 for 8 against the Islanders with the power play this year. Almost 25% on the road. There is Streit dropping it back. And now Reed penetrates the zone. Got it to Downey. He's taken off the puck at a heavy hit. And then the Islanders clear it all the way down. 27 seconds on the power play. Streit starts up to LeCavalier, and he turns it over to Grabner. Grabner's dangerous. He's got the puck now. Grabner with Cizikas takes the shot, and it goes high and wide and all the way out to the neutral zone. Andrew McDonald will play it there and send it right back into the Philadelphia zone, and that'll leave only 10 seconds to work with.
You have to be so careful with Michael Grabner on the ice. A turnover at the offensive blue line, and Grabner turns it into an opportunity at the other end.
Yeah, the Flyers turn it over again at the blue line, and here's Tavares going the other way, makes the move around Downey, then spins to the wall. Tavares centers all the way across. The post was there, but it bounced off of him wide. And now Matt Martin out of the box, gets it back to Streit. He'll float one wide. Tavares worked on by Streit. Powers his way in front, then is taken down. Puck loose, and Emery had to make a save. As opposed to when Martin were jamming away at that. The Flyers do relieve pressure and clear the zone. Quickly though, right back in go the Islanders, and Tavares. He coughs it up at the line. He then takes the Flyer down, but that's okay according to the guys in striped shirts. It was all Adam Hall that he took down. Now a tip pass from the post to Grabner. In he goes! And he could not beat Emery as Emery stayed square to the shooter there and got a piece. Now the Flyers move back into the Islanders zone. Couturier after it. Heavy hit on Donovan. Checks are being finished here this afternoon. Oposo cross ice. That's tipped. Donovan after it. And now Brock Nelson will send the pop fly deep into the Philadelphia zone. Colin McDonald. Zaros come together. The puck goes to Grabner. Out to the point. Donovan will just send it to the vacant quarter. Grabner gets to it. And now Nelson, the cycle game for the Islanders. Centering pass is tipped. Bounces in the air to the circle. And Grabner winning the race to the puck. It's it behind the net to Colin McDonald. He had 7 hits in the game the other night. Puck back to Donovan. Keeps it in at the point. To McDonald. Looking for Nelson, but he is unable to come up with that as Couturier got there. And backhands into traffic and not out of the zone. Nelson sends it down low. There's McDonald. McDonald to the corner. Josh Bailey after it. And he runs over. Zaros put the puck to Couturier. Another chance for Shaw to clear the zone. Couldn't get it done as the Islanders tenacious on their forecheck here. Now the Flyers get it out in center. Not be handled by Downey as we hit the midpoint of this first period. Shots are 10-5 Flyers. Hits are 10-4 Islanders. Here is Giroux to Timonen. Jams it in along the boards. Voracek and McDonald canceled. Downey pushes it to the wall. Voracek being ridden from behind there by McDonald, but stays after that puck does Voracek, and is able to slide it back around behind the net. DeHaan now up the wall, redirected out of the zone by Bailey. Coburn has to hustle back to keep it away from Clutterbuck. But now it's Bailey in. He's onside. Bailey with a shot, and that one off of Emery, and then the glass behind the net. Clutterbuck to it. Gets the puck to Bailey. Bailey centering, and in a last-second swing of the stick, it's cleared down the ice by the Flyers. No icing. So Nielsen will give to DeHaan.
And more bumping with Giroux heading over to the bench with Cal Clutterbuck. A lot of behind-the-scenes action here in this game, and the Flyers have to be careful they don't get a retaliation penalty. The refs are looking.
Hartnell up the left wing. Stops at the line. Tried to slide that through. Simmons has to go get it along the boards. Bounces behind the net. Braden Shen steals, center, Simmons shot, blocked. Never got on goal. Now Simmons back behind the net. Shen looking to center, but that's blocked off and taken by Cizikas. Cizikas out in center ice for Eric Bolton. Had a little trouble controlling. Now he's got it. And the Islanders look to move into the Philadelphia zone. Straight decked by Shen as he spun it deep. Now the shot! And with Matt Martin right in his way, Emery able to fight that one off. Martinel tried to clear the zone. It ended up going out of play, I believe, off a deflection. Good pace here on Long Island. McGuinn University game notes. Well, some would call it old-time hockey between the Flames and Canucks. Crosby gets another honor as well. But Saturday, good old-fashioned line ball right off the opening faceoff. 2 seconds in, 5 separate fights. And John Tortorella, during the intermission, decided to pay the Flames locker room a visit.
Yeah, not the first time that he's responded with the opposition starting their tough guys. The Devils did it just a couple of seasons ago, and John Tortorella obliged at home with that last change and did it again, but seemed a little more upset about it this time.
Sidney Crosby named the captain of Team Canada for the Olympics. No surprise there. John Tortorella had a hearing, an in-person hearing with the National Hockey League this morning. The hearing is over. No word yet on a fine or suspension for the Vancouver coach.
He had to be very angry to go that far into the Calgary hallway. That's a bit of a jaunt to get from his locker room to Calgary's.
He was a man on a mission.
And right in the middle of it.
Timonen spilled as he moved that puck to Matt Reed, who's tied up by Oposo. Islanders tried to pick up the forechecking pressure here in this first period. Penalty up coming out of this scrum. Now Oposo's dropped the gloves with Coburn. So our second fight of the afternoon. Oposo trying to get that right hand free. Coburn as well. Coburn got a right hand in. Oposo misses with the right, and Coburn tumbles down. Crowd gets all excited about that, but just the two players falling to the ice. And we said sometimes we a little bit false in our advertising about the back half of this back-to-back situation, Jonesy, but we said this might happen, and it has.
Yeah, two valuable players for the respective teams heading off the ice here. Coburn, who logs a ton of minutes, and Oposo, who's picked up a bunch of points this year. Here's the scramble where it starts. Not sure who the original call is on, but there's the two players asking each other whether or not it's time to go, and they drop the mitts and go at it.
Oposo's probably still got a little burn in his butt from Saturday where he took a couple of whacks. He was really upset during this one, but he didn't drop the gloves. Here, he does. And the crowd obviously liked it because Oposo knocked Coburn down, but certainly not a lot there to be excited about.
Looks like the original call is going on the Flyers as Voracek heads into the box here, and the Flyers will be shorthanded.
I think Voracek is serving the penalty for Coburn.
Yeah.
Coburn will get a minor. There it is, slashing, and the major, and Oposo gets just the major. So the Islanders' first power play, and Emery will melt the puck down. Emery was doing a lot of stretching while we were getting ready for that face-off. Of course, he has the hip condition that he's made a remarkable comeback from, but it can still crop up on him from time to time.
He's been busy here in this first period, too. That was an outstanding save off the face-off win, and this time Couturier gets the better of Tavares.
All the way down the ice goes the puck, and Reed's the first one to it, but it's taken away by Frans Nielsen. Andrew McDonald will look to get the Islanders started up ice. Islanders power play is much better at home. As you can see, the Flyers have been very good, not only this season, but the last several seasons against the Islanders power play. Here's a steal and a 2-on-1 for the Flyers, but the pass from Reed makes Couturier chase. They still move ahead. Couturier dangles and fires. Save made by Nielsen, and now falling down is Couturier. Numbers for the Islanders the other way. Vanek to the line. They say it's onside. He'll flip it in front to Tavares. He couldn't handle it. Couturier gets it back and will clear all the way down.
Outstanding job by Matt Reed on the back check there. Offensively, Couturier comes up with a terrific move to get that scoring opportunity, and then the Islanders headed the other way.
Halfway through the Islander mat advantage, Kyle McDonald shuffles it in. Don Defenseman goes in after Mazzaros, and he come together. The puck high in the air to Adam Hall. Hall backhands, and it does hop over the stick of McDonald. And Raffl after the puck for Philadelphia, cutting on in. Raffl all the way around. Stop it, Nielsen, rebound try goes right through the blue paint. Great attempt by Raffl. Great reach by Michael Raffl there, but Nielsen able to make the save. Final 35 seconds of the mad advantage. Some miscommunication by the Islanders at the line. Mazzaro's back for the puck. Luke Schenn tried to set it up the wall. It hit a skate. They jammed for it there, and now it's twisted back out to Donovan at the point. Goes across ice. And on to Donovan. Could not be handled by McDonald. Josh Bailey behind the net. Bounces that puck to McDonald, and now on to Donovan across. Don right at the line. Whips it down low. Bailey has a look. His pass knocked down, and the Flyers will clear as Adam Hall gets it out to center ice.
Boy, they've done a great job on the penalty kill. They had a couple of great chances at this end. Where I'm right beside Nilsson, we're on the two short-handed situations or shots. Nilsson had to come up with good saves.
That's 29 consecutive penalty kills for the Flyers against the Islanders, covering 11 games. As the Flyers move up, but then Matt Martin takes over. Big winger. Dumps that puck in and chases, looks to make a hit, always does. He does apply the hit now. Nielsen centering, that one hit him. But then right at the side of the net, jammed to the boards. And Hartnell overskates first attempt and then just whacks it out to the neutral zone. Simmons reaching for it, but Hickey has it instead. Just a little more than 5 minutes remaining in a scoreless first period. 12-8 the shots in favor of the Flyers. Zizekas fans on his dump in. Timonen will play it back to Emery again, and this time Ray will put his glove on top of the puck and get the whistle. We'll be back.
No score here at the Islanders. Michael Raffl. Oh yeah, he had a tough time against the Nashville Predators. Carter Hutton came up with the NHL save of the week. Watch Raffl with a wide open net. Carter Hutton comes out with an unbelievable glove save from behind the net. But the other night, or the other afternoon rather, against the New York Islanders, it was Michael Raffl burying it. Absolutely burying it.
Lesson learned, eh, Coatsy? And an outstanding job tonight. Short-handed for this afternoon in the wraparound attempt. Nilsson gets across and makes a good save. Raffl playing in all situations and has done a nice job in the PK here this half.
Islanders win the draw and get the puck toward the slide. Intercepted, and now out into the neutral zone to LeCavalier, who stops. And his pass ends up making the play offside as Voracek went in. We'll get Philly sports news and scores when you're on the go. Be the first to know the latest on all your Philly teams right from your smartphone. Download the free CSN Philly Sports app.
You know, I asked Michael Raffl, Jimmy, after the game the other day, I said, well, it appeared to me that you buried that one. You really let that one go. He said, listen, that shot with Carter Hutton is going to have to live with me the rest of my life. I'm not going to mess up again.
Yeah, we had a great shot of him after Hutton made that save. There's a shot by Voracek, and it redirected and then glanced wide. Wraps off of Nielsen. LeCavalier going to the net. And now Clutterbuck will clear the zone. You could tell with the reaction. He was just stunned that Hutton got to that one.
He called it his miss, not Hutton's save.
Right. And there was net to shoot at, but you also have to understand a penalty occurred on the play as Legwand got a piece of Raffl, and that's what made the puck go back toward Hutton.
Does that mean that's the NHL miss of the week, too?
Yes, according to Michael Raffl.
Great to see him learn the lesson, though, and bury that puck the other night. Here in center, the puck jumps free. Here's Couturier to it, followed by Downey. Couturier the shot. Nielsen will make the save and hang on. 4:02 remaining in the first period.
We look at Jay Rosehill, so let's talk about the rough stuff in the last couple of games. But this one is a continuation. Brayden Schenn with a dandy right there. And well, Mazzaros took the wrong end of that one. Then Schenn had a hit in the corner. Then comes swinging out with a great wraparound. Then he tried to hit straight and missed. Could have hurt himself there. And Braden Coburn, of course, no poster went at it. And then Vinny LeCavalier goes to the front of the net and gets knocked down. Jay Rosehill got into it. Matt Carter. They got sent to the penalty box, and Sean Couturier with a real good first period so far.
He's on that draw, but the puck squirts to Karkner. We'll move it ahead to Colin McDonald, and now Hickey had to dig it out of his skates. Tavares back to McDonald moving up, and he'll flip it into the Philadelphia zone and chase Emery out of his net. Looking for Streit. Streit fanned on his pass up the boards, but Couturier is there to intercept the Islander pass, but then it's taken right back by New York. Vanek getting the puck to Tavares. Tavares around behind the net. Changing direction. Couturier stays right with him. Pokes it away. Tavares goes back and gets it. And there's Couturier on him again, knocking it away. It's a good example of the great work by Sean Couturier defensively right there on that shift.
He has been outstanding in this first period, as Coatsy talked about. He had that shorthanded scoring opportunity. He had the tip chance off the face-off that he won in the offensive zone. He's done a great job going head-to-head with Tavares here in the first period. Jack Capuano might want to change that with the last change at home.
Big hit in the corner as Hickey took a seat, courtesy of Adam Hall. Now Hall after Karkner. All right, in front of Coatsy, and the puck will flip to the other corner. Clutterbuck hands off to Frans Nielsen. He's checked by Rosehill, but on a second try, swats it out through the neutral zone. Luke Schenn back to get it. Goes across ice, and now Flyers just dump into the neutral zone. DeHaan's waiting for that, drills it back in. Timonen will settle things behind the Philadelphia cage as the Schenn line out for the Flyers. Simmons trying to flip that one, but it's deflected and goes into the Islander bench. That gives us time to tell you about our Jeep trivia question for this afternoon. These Islanders, of course, were a dynasty back in the early 80s. Which team prevented them from winning a 5th consecutive Stanley Cup back in 1984? Minnesota North Stars, Edmonton Oilers, or the Boston Bruins?
I know the answer.
That's one I know too. Well, those were the days of NHL dynasties.
Yes, it was.
Tough to do that now, but the Blackhawks are certainly doing their best, aren't they?
They are.
Wow.
Great game yesterday
Another
against the
one.
Bruins.
Tough schedule. They had the Ducks earlier on, and they controlled that game. Then they weren't as dominant yesterday, but they found a way to beat the Bruins.
Crawford was outstanding.
Brock Nelson in. That shot by Colin McDonald is snuffed out. Puck sent through the neutral zone. Donovan now, bouncing puck that makes its way into the Philadelphia zone. Judge, you were mentioning earlier, you think the puck's bouncing a lot here today.
There has been a lot of bouncing pucks. The Flyers were the benefactor on a couple of them as they got some offensive zone pressure because of it.
Voracek using his speed to get into the zone. Centered. The puck to Giroux. Giroux with 2 great assists in the comeback the other night. And not sure where he was going with that one as he played it to the boards. Flyers go back out and center and dump it into the Islander zone. Voracek on the forecheck. Knocked it free momentarily, but straight able to recover and get to Oposo. Oposo to Tavares. Tavares hit it across the line, getting some room. The shot blocked off. Now it's gotten by Oposo, trying to center. Grossman hook penalty. Tavares will visit the sin bin as he got the stick in the midsection of Nick Grossman, and so the Flyers will go to the power play.
Luke Schenn did an outstanding job in blocking that shot by Tavares, and then Grossman, when he picked up the puck, draws the penalty on Tavares. Not the best shift for the Islander superstar. Here's the opportunity, and watch Luke Schenn in the shooting lane there, gets one skate on that and steers it to the boards, and then the penalty comes right after that.
Tavares is so quick and he's so nifty with that puck. Backs the defense off, and then he gets that opportunity, gets the screen plus the shot from the hash mark. That's what makes him so talented, or so good.
Second power play for the Flyers. Islanders with the bottom-ranked penalty kill in the NHL. Broken stick. Here's Lecavalier getting the puck to Schenn. Islander without a stick right now is Frans Nielsen out high. Flyers go to work out there. Streit to Couturier. Back to Streit. And now Lecavalier, the shot off the stick of Nielsen high in the air behind the net. Schenn tipping it to the corner boards. Lecavalier broke his stick. So he's going to the bench to get a new stick and heading right back into play. But Couturier could not maneuver that puck forward. And now Lecavalier is one of the players back here. Cizikas moves up. Cizikas wide on Lecavalier around behind the net and was forced wide by Vinny. So he did his best. Now Flyers need to help him out here as the puck is in the corner. And Lecavalier will move it to the middle to Couturier. Couturier gains the line, continues to control, but then has it poke checked away, and Hickey will send it off from Streit, and here's Grabner. He's got a short-handed breakaway. Emery says no. Flashing some leather, Ray Emery gloving that one and keeping this game scoreless.
What a huge save by Ray Emery. Michael Grabner with speed to spare. He just does an outstanding job in picking this puck up in the neutral zone. And watch Emery fake the poke check there and throw the glove up and take away that backhand attempt.
Mason stopped Grabner in a similar type of play where Grabner's going to go from left to right and then come to the backhand. But this time he tried to go a little higher, and Ray Emery, watch, waits, tries to poke it away from Grabner, but stayed with him going from pipe to pipe.
couple seasons ago, Grabner had 6 shorthanded goals. Jonesy had said he's very dangerous because of his speed. I will say this, though. He gets a lot of breakaways. His percentage isn't as good as the Islanders would like it to be, but with that speed, he does cause some problems. 12.4 seconds remaining in the first period, making that save that much more important. Now I understand we're going to try to put a couple more seconds on the clock. It'll be 14 plus seconds remaining. Face-off will be to the right of Emery once they get the clock situation straightened out. 14.6. Still over a minute of power play time left for the Flyers. Islanders win the draw. Grabner gets it out to Hickey. His shot hits Voracek. He didn't know where it went, and it's Grabner who finds it. Grabner's pass, dangerous one, back out toward center, but Flyers could not move up with it. Timonen now to Simmons in the middle. Giroux with the horn sounds, ending period number 1. A scoreless first period here on Long Island. Ray Emery stops 9 shots. Anders Nielsen 14 Flyer offerings to keep the Goose Eggs on the board. Today's Flyers-Islanders first period was brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. By Powerback Rehabilitation. Gives patients their power back by getting them home sooner. And by Supercuts. Check out supercuts.com to find a convenient salon location near you. Rock the cuts at Supercuts. John Boric and Rick Tocchet are next as they analyze the first period. No score. Flyers-Islanders after 1. First scoreless first period in a Flyers game since back in the game against Phoenix out in Arizona. There are your Sugar House Casino statistics.
Pretty evenly played period. The Flyers outshoot the New York Islanders by 5, and both power plays couldn't find the back of the net.
GMC NHL update. We go back to yesterday. This is the only game going on right now today. Blackhawks, we referred to this game earlier. This is Patrick Kane. They've been 0 for 9 in shootouts. Wasn't an over there as he beat the Boston Bruins with that goal. And Mark Barberio, 2 goals, his first 2 NHL tallies. That was his second one, helping Tampa Bay to a 5-3 win over the Carolina Hurricanes in that matchup. This is the only game going on right now. There's another afternoon game which starts in approximately an hour's time as the Bruins are back in action against the Kings. So right now, Flyers-Islanders have the NHL stage all of themselves.
Take a look at our ice time leaders from that first period. Mark Streit leading from the back end. Sean Couturier leading all forwards in minutes played. And Calvin DeHaan with a terrific job. Young defender for the New York Islanders out there. An awful lot in the first period. Couturier going head-to-head with John Tavares here at home on the opening face-off. Takes that win, knocks down Tavares, and then goes to work in the offensive zone. He wins a face-off here, gets a nice tip on Braden Coburn's shot, and then shorthanded. It's a terrific scoring opportunity after a nice move there and a good, quick shot. A very good period for the Philadelphia Flyers' top two-way center iceman.
Well, when you talk about the ice time, and the fact that this guy had so much of it, and then you look at Claude Giroux, and you see that he only played, 4 minutes? And 50 seconds. It goes to the chess match that's going on, and the dilemma really for Craig Berube here on the road. He wants to have Couturier against Tavares, but if he puts him out there every time, then that's going to cut into your top line's ice time.
Yeah, and right now Craig Berube has Tavares right where he wants him, sitting in the penalty box, and the Flyers will get this power play.
That'll take care of that dilemma.
Leave him there.
50 seconds remaining on the Tavares hooking minor, the second power play of the game for the Flyers. The Flyers had trailed 6 of their last 9 games after the first period, so perhaps the 0-0 standoff after one here isn't so bad. Now they try to get that lead. Here's Kimmo Timonen. Moving on up. Timonen slides in and then gets it back out to Giroux, and they set things up. Cross ice it goes. Voracek cutting to the middle. Fired it down low. Simmons, but he couldn't get it back in front. His straight got in the way. Hartnell kicking at the puck. Now Simmons able to jam it back out to Timonen at the point. right at the line. Gets it back to Giroux. Simmons in his office down low. Giroux looking at Hartnell. Gets it to him for the shot. Fought off by Nielsen. Rebound kept alive by Giroux to Simmons. Simmons in traffic. Could not work through that. Andrew McDonald will send it up the wall. Strite knocks it down to keep it in. Behind the back pass. Hartnell, but his pass intercepted by McDonald, and he'll find Tavares, who's out of the box. Tavares spins with it and then drops it off for Clutterbuck. Couldn't get it to set down for him. Now tries to jam it in, and no whistle as Emery was able to make the first save. Then Clutterbuck is dumped. Puck popped free. And now there is a penalty evidently spotted from out in center ice by the referee there, Dennis Leroux.
Yeah, Dennis Leroux, Justin St. Pierre looked up as he was watching where the puck was. It was Leroux that's going to be able to pick up the hooking call. Clutterbuck right here, watch. That puck is sitting right there, but so is the glove of Ray Emery.
Some penalties are good ones to take, and Grossman here, after recovering and getting back, was smart to take down Cal Clutterbuck there. That puck was loose, and Clutterbuck had a chance to jam it in, but Emery did a nice job of holding the post.
So the Islanders now get their second power play of the game. Coburn did not clear. Flyers won the draw cleanly, but Coburn could not get it out of the zone, and the Islanders go to work. The shot saved by Emery off of Franz Nielsen, and now moving back is Reed. Reed getting a step. Reed cutting on in. Reed to the backhand. He scores! Matt Reed's 5th goal against the Islanders this season is a beauty. And a shorthanded goal gives Philadelphia a 1-0 lead. Reed scores for a case of tasty cake.
This was a thing of beauty. An outstanding job defensively by Reed, and then he blows past John Tavares here, who recognizes the passing lane is cut off and fires a backhand over the glove hand.
It's always tougher for the goaltender to be able to pick up a direction from Matt Reed. He's not going to get any direction there. You hear it hit the pipe. That thing is up and over the shoulder of Ahlstrom, who, as I mentioned, 6'3", but not big enough to be able to get that one. That one was just absolutely perfect up in the top corner.
So the Flyers get their 5th shorthanded goal of the season. Reed, as I said, 5 goals against the Islanders. Look out here, the Islanders still on the power play trying to do some work. 3 of those goals are empty net goals.
That one wasn't.
There's not.
That's a beauty.
Sends it all the way down. If I'm not mistaken, one of those empty net goals was a shorthanded goal. I have to check on that. But the Flyers have the lead. It's Matt Reed. Gives it to them. Still a minute remaining on this man advantage. Vanek celebrated his 30th birthday, or more yesterday. Down low to Tavares. Tavares centering it in. Front bounces back to Oposo. He tried to get it to Tavares. He was tightly marked by Coburn and couldn't come up with it, and the Flyers clear. Rafa will be the first to the puck. Deep in the Islanders zone. He's a smart player. Just tries to occupy the puck as long as he can. He does a great job. The time ticking away, and finally the Islanders work it away from him. As Josh Bailey out to center to Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck to the Philadelphia line, turns on the speed, goes wide with it, angles it on through. Back out to Hahn to Clutterbuck. He's checked by Meszaros. They get it to Bailey. Bailey, 16 seconds remaining on the power play. Got that puck to Nelson, and now out to DeHaan. Back to Nelson with some room in the slot. Turns and fires. Save Emery. He's able to cover in front of Clutterbuck and get the whistle.
There's the composure that we were talking about earlier that Brock Nelson brings. I mean, he's been a scorer at every level. University of North Dakota, then with Bridgeport in the American Hockey League, and he's a big man. So he takes full advantage of that, but right there, he just patient. He turned, he's got a great wrist shot, and he let that one go. And the Flyers let him get a little bit of time there at the top of the circle.
That goal by Reed, also the 5th time this year he scored the first goal of a hockey game. As the Flyers cleared all the way down. Couturier and Timonen get the assist on the shorthanded goal. Reed's 12th overall this season. The Flyers have killed off another Islander power play, so make it 30 in a row. Against this Islander team, Bolton centering that. Bounces away from Simmons. DeHaan will roll it around behind the Philadelphia net. Now Meszaros jabbing at it, got it ahead. Simmons couldn't come up with it, but now Braden Shen does to Simmons. And across the line on the left wing, drop past Shen. Shen the shot, that one takes off, goes high off the glass. Over Luke Shen's stick, look out. Cizikas will get to it. Cizikas cutting it on goal, pass to Martin. Emery says no. Ray Emery sliding across and makes the save to keep the Flyers on top.
We've talked a lot about the bouncing pucks here this afternoon, and this one causes a lot of problems for Luke Schenn as he tries to pinch in there, and it hops up over his stick. A terrific play by Cizikas and an unbelievable save by Emery. Great anticipation.
Emery was way ahead of that one. Cizikas has got his mind made up. He's going to come from below the circle. He knows this. He's looking at it. He's a left-hand shot. He's got Martin, who's a left shot, facing the net. He figures it's just going to be a slam dunk. But Emery, nah. He says, no way. I'm getting to that far pipe.
Here's Downey in. Drops it back for Grossman. A shot saved. Nielsen the rebound. Giroux got it down low, and Downey was looking for it. Now Giroux backhands it all the way across to Voracek. Voracek spinning out to the slot. He's left alone. He holds. He lost it. Gets it back, and his shot takes off and finds the safety netting, perhaps off a stick. I think Jake Voracek was surprised how alone he was.
Yeah, Steve Downey does a good job here getting a shift with Giroux and Voracek and setting a pick in front of the net. See number 9 and White there blocking out, allowing Voracek to get some extra space. And just prior to releasing that puck, it slipped off the end of his stick.
He had Nielsen right where he wanted, because Nielsen was down the butterfly, and he had all the crowd right in front of him. So by the time that Voracek had looped right around, he had that whole left side of the net.
Islanders get control off of the defensive zone draw. With speed, Bailey to center. He'll chip and chase. He'll get there first. Finds Clutterbuck, who centers off a skate. Back out to Hahn. Shot! And that one took off, I think, off of Giroux. And then out of play. And the faceoff will remain in the Philadelphia zone.
Flyers captain laying out there with that block. A prime scoring opportunity for the New York Islanders. And Giroux has some great recognition there and timing to get down and block that quick shot from the point. There's Giroux sliding across, gets a piece of it, and goes up and over.
Sacrifice your body. There's Matt Reed banking it to the neutral zone. Gotten back by Matt Cartner. It's flung in and grabbed by Emery. Drops it down for Coburn to Timonen. Timonen turns it over to Nielsen. Nielsen, that one go off a stick, and then Timonen bats it. And the Flyers will move it ahead. Of course, you can bat it ahead in the defensive zone to a teammate. Reed shuttles it deep. Goes after it. Finds Couturier centering, but that knocked away by Hickey, and the Islanders move back. Runs Nielsen, winding it in. Emery will steer to Coburn. Now rink wide for Reed. Gets the red line, chips it in. Flyers are at the end of a shift, at least some of them heading off ice. As Islanders will drop it back, and Nelson will get to Andrew McDonald. McDonald looking for an outlet. He finds Grabner in center. He tips it to Nelson. He's poke checked, and then Mazzaros will swat it out to the neutral zone. Gardner drops it back. Another nice play by Mazzaros as he pokes the puck to Downey. Downey will hoist it into the Islanders zone. Back goes straight to get it. Rams it around all the way out. Mazzaros is there again. Gets the puck to Rosehill. He's checked. Bouncing puck now gathered by Hall, I should say. He'll fire it through the slot to the other side, and the Islanders have it now. McDonald to Nelson, and he'll play it in. Got a Nelson and 2 Nielsens in this game. A straight and a strike. 2 Schenns, 2 McDonalds. Go get it.
Have fun.
Here's a steal by the Islanders. That's Vanek. And now the Flyers get the puck away, and Voracek trying to maneuver through center, cut off by Hahn. Giroux with a body check on Hahn, but the puck to Tavares. Tavares, a nice move on Luke. Schenn tried to center, and Raffles back to make the defensive play. Now another shot blocked by Mazzaros in front, and he'll scoop it out of the zone. Played by Matt Donovan. The more you watch Michael Raffl play, the more you appreciate some of the work he does away from the puck. Here's Okposo drilling one wide. Vanek got it back to the point. Hahn shot. Oh, that hit Mazzaros up high. He appears to be okay, getting up slowly. And the Flyers move out to center ice. Voracek. Voracek it across the line, tries to go wide, but Hahn says no.
You know why Mazzaros got in a bad position? Because he didn't know that the puck was diving. It dove about 1.5 feet.
That's icing on the Islanders.
Well, the Flyers Wives Carnival is this Sunday, and it's your best opportunity to meet your favorite Flyers players and alumni. Kids tickets are just $15 in advance with options for the whole family. Visit FlyersCarnival.com to buy early and save. Come and meet some of your favorite Flyers of the present and the past. Bill Clement, of course, will be there.
Yeah, you can meet Bill Clement or some of the members of the ice team.
Yes.
I'm just getting informed by Brian Cooper, our producer. This is big news that Ike Richmond is going to be in the dunk tank, the celebrity member. Celebrating the anniversary. His anniversary, I guess, the carnival.
Good for him. Everybody should get dunked there. The anniversary.
Like Richmond handles public relations. Comcast Spectacor. I'm sure Mr. Coach will make sure that, like Richmond does, indeed, go underwater.
Don't lose any sleep over it. I got it all taken care of.
Braden Shen trying to center that one, but Islanders able to knock it down. Martin ahead for Cizikas. Tips it deep into the Philadelphia zone and goes and gets it. Now behind the net, Bolton stripped by Streit. Streit ahead. Braden Shen will just tip it out to the neutral zone. 7.5 minutes into this second period. Matt Reed's shorthanded goal, the only tally of this one. Here is Simmons gaining the Islander line. Waiting, looking across ice. Deals it across ice. And now Streit will just send it behind the net. And Hartnell with a leg trip that got caught. Penalty upcoming against Philadelphia. Delayed call. And the Islanders getting the extra tacker out, but Rosehill will steal the puck to get the whistle. An Islander power play when we return.
Flyers up 1-0 on Matt Reed's shorthanded marker. He's been a busy guy against the New York Islanders this season. 3 empty net goals as the Flyers win the first two 5-2. And they win the last one 6-4 with the empty netter coming again to Matt Reed. 3 empty netters and a beautiful shorthanded marker here this afternoon. A great job by Matt Reed contributing to the offense.
I mean, that is absolutely perfect. He looked up too. And it's hard to be able to make that backhand because you got to look over your shoulder, so you don't really get a good look at it because you got to look and then take that backhand. And that's what makes it so tough for the goalies because they're looking at the same thing and they can't get a sense of direction coming off the stick.
It was his second shorthanded goal of the year, but the other one was not an empty netter, as I said earlier. Those were all even-strength empty netters. I think Matt would love to be getting his 4th empty netter this season against the Islanders in this game. Although perhaps he'd like even more to have the Flyers open up a lead. We'll see. Right now they're trying to kill off another Islander power play. Here's Couturier cutting in. Couturier holds. He fires and it deflects and goes to the corner. Another short-headed bid for Philadelphia. Adam Hall wins the race for the puck, and then as he's falling to the ice, dumps it deeper into the Islanders zone. Flyers will make some player changes. Islanders with their 3rd man advantage of the game with Hartnell off for tripping. Andrew McDonald across ice. Tavares snaps that puck into the corner. Reed is back to play it. Has a little trouble controlling. Goes up the middle, gets it past McDonald and all the way down.
Good decision there by Matt Reed. Very patient with that puck, and now he pounces on the post and causes a turnover.
Kept that in the zone and then raffled the shot. Save made by Nielsen behind the net. Tavares comes away with it. Nielsen lost his goal stick, but he'll be able to get it back as his team moves up ice. Although they misfire there, making this icing. Ooh, quick call on the hybrid. Might have benefited the Flyers there.
Timonen was further ahead than Coburn, so I think Oposo might have been able to beat Coburn, but because Timonen was down as far as he was, the icing call was the correct one made by the referee.
Well, it's so tough because the puck had so much juice on it, it was going to go to the corner where the other 2 players were. Maybe we're going to look at it here.
Yeah, you can see where Kimmo Timonen is in front of that. He's already passed the dots there, and it was going to be a real close play with Coburn.
I think the crowd was confused, figuring that it was not Timonen, but it was Coburn that was being tested as far as the race was concerned. They were over in the corner.
Yeah, well, as it turned out, it probably should have been, but it's so difficult for the linesman to make that assessment. So much to process in such a short period of time. There is Tavares, holding on. Gets it back out, chopped by Vanek. His block bounces right back to Tavares. Centers it for Oposo. He couldn't get out of his skates, but it bounces back to Tavares, and he scores. He's a great player. Right here, he gets a break. And he capitalizes to tie this game at 1 and end the long power play drought for the Islanders against the Flyers. It's a 1-1 game.
Happy fan there here on Long Island, and the bouncing puck makes John Tavares a happy guy as he passes the puck on the backhand to Oposo, and then the bouncing puck kicks off Oposo's skate there as he's searching for it. Actually, Adam Hall chips it over right to John Tavares, and he puts it in the empty net.
You see Nick Grossman's not very happy because he had an opportunity. It just swung a little earlier, but that's a give and go. And so now Oposo's delayed a little bit trying to get a hold of that puck, does get the shot. Emery gets a piece, but just enough to be able to get that rebound right back onto the stick.
So we start again here just about halfway through regulation time. Here come the Islanders looking for more. Quick shot wide of the net. Clutterbuck Do it in the corner. Pestered by Mazzaros. And turns it back down low, hoping for Bailey. Instead, taken by Straight. He moves behind the net and then is hit hard by Mazzaros. So Mazzaros ended up going down. Flyers still battling for the puck. So are the Islanders. As they have some momentum from that goal. There's Andrew McDonald. A shot blocked by Giroux, but he couldn't step to center with it. It's sent back in along the wall. Clutterbuck, nice play to Nelson, but then Giroux knocks it away. Straight is checked and dumped, but got the puck to Lecavalier, who will lob one to center. Giroux stopped there in first try, got it to Voracek at a second try. He's hammered by Clutterbuck, but still has the puck. Wheels back, puts it across the line and drops it to Lecavalier. Lecavalier holding on. And now checked as he moves to the boards. He'll push it along for Voracek, but that's taken away by Straight. Team it in, and Giroux combined to keep the puck in the zone. Nelson checked by Voracek. Good work by Jake Voracek. Tried to slide that to Hartnell, but it went to Straight instead. He couldn't clear the zone as Voracek, and it hopped over Voracek's stick. A lot of bouncing pucks. Jonesy spotted that early on in the game, and it's continued.
And you have to adjust to it. You can't take chances on pucks that aren't 100%. And they're not in this game with the way that the puck's bouncing, so you got to play a smart game here.
And Nielsen's going to just jump on top of the puck here. 9 minutes, 3 seconds remain in the second period. Tied at 1.
Tied up 1-1 here on Long Island. The Adirondack Phantoms face off against the Hershey Bears at the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday, February 1st. It's a 1 o'clock start. It's the American Hockey League action at a great price on the big stage as the Phantoms come back to where it all began.
And it's quite possible that you'll be able to see this guy in that game, Marc-Andre Bourdon, who today we learned was activated from the injured reserve and loaned to the Phantoms. Of course, has had 3 different concussions, has had all kinds of issues to deal with. Did the testing out at the University of Michigan, then got tested today by Flyer doctors and passed those tests. He's ready to play professional hockey again. And that is great news, as that shot by Braden Shen nearly snuck through Anders Nielsen. But for Marc-Andre Bourdon, it's been a long road back, and we certainly wish him well.
Yeah, no question about it. Looked like he had a promising career ahead of him. Hopefully he's able to bounce back and get going again. Here's a nice play by Braden Shen, avoiding the block attempt there from Calvin DeHaan and finding a way to make a tricky shot for Anders Nielsen to have to handle.
I think Nielsen was a little surprised because Shen did a good job. He kind of looked like he was going to keep the puck. He had DeHaan right in front of him. And then all of a sudden he looked and saw, oh, Shen's shooting. He's got me as a screen. And Nielsen just caught it.
Flyers back to center to get the puck now as they have the unit. Get the offense going. Here's Simmons, Shen, and Hartnell. Here's Hartnell. Back to Simmons. He could not bury it. Second try. It goes in. They score. Wayne Simmons stayed with it and gives the Flyers the lead back. It's 2-1. Simmons scores for a case of Tasty Cake. Not sure how the first one didn't get in. We'll soon see.
Follow your shot to the net. Give Wayne Simmons a ton of credit for that. A beautiful give and go here. Hartnell, what a pass back. Simmons thinks he's got one right away, but stops and finds that rebound attempt and buries it. Real intelligent play from Wayne Simmons.
And very heavy on the word stop. So many players just keep skating. But boy, he stayed right with it, put the brakes on, saw that the puck was still loose, no whistle. Nielsen's totally on his back, having a tough time finding the puck himself, and Simmons is the first guy to find it and the first guy to be able to get that puck into the net.
Team leading 17th goal for Wayne Simmons. Now has a 4-game point streak, and he has 12 goals in his last 17 games. Right up among the league leaders in goal scoring here over the last month of NHL play. And he and John Tavares are at the top of the NHL in points over the last 6 weeks or so. They're both added to their totals here today. It's 2-1 Flyers. Here's Tavares looking for more, and that shot blocked by Streit, his former teammate. Not in the way. Oh, Couturier reverses right to Vanek. Vanek centers, goes off the side of the net, all the way out to center. Flyers catch a break there.
Well, there's a penalty coming up. They got a break, but there's a penalty coming up against the Philadelphia Flyers.
And there's Nielsen just realizing that, heads to the bench. Flyers stick checking, don't get Tavares in center. And now Poso has it. Extra power play time. Poso checks, and now Reed to the puck, and there's your whistle. Flyers spending a lot of time in the penalty box. One of Craig Berube's keys against the Islanders starting this home series was not facing the Islander power play too much. they are here this afternoon as a fourth Islander power play about to begin.
Vinny Lecavalier heading over to the open penalty box door. He grabs his seat there, and Craig Berube sends out his penalty kill unit here to try to maintain the 1-goal lead.
Philadelphia Flyers penalty number 40 was
Clutterbuck. To get that puck up the boards. Flyers did not get it out of the zone. Islanders there. Here's the cross ice pass to Matt Donovan for the shot. Save Emery. Rebound. Raffl. His clearing attempt was tipped and did not get out of the zone. DeHaan is there. Donovan and now Bailey. Bailey to Nelson. Checked. Puck dribbles to Timonen. He'll try to clear it. Hit the well, it hit glass, and then I thought the safety done, but they say play continues. Donovan to DeHaan. Now the pass. Nelson shot blocked by Timonen. Clutterbuck worked on and dumped by Adam Hall. The puck's sitting there. Clutterbuck trying to get it back to the point. It's Raffl instead skating it to the neutral zone and then sending it the rest of the way.
Really good work there by Braden Coburn and flushing out that puck, getting it chipped up to Michael Raffl, who uses his legs to get to the blue line and then chip it down the ice.
Still a minute remaining on this power play as Andrew McDonald moves back with it. Donovan, he'll wind it in. Tavares behind the net for Oposo. Oposo will flip that back. Couturier wipes out. That gives McDonald all kinds of room. And now he'll flip. Nielsen, and Couturier strips him, but Nielsen gets it right back. Cross ice pass tipped by Reed, but gathered by Vanek. Vanek for Tavares. Looks things over. He's forced by Reed, who's down low now in the zone. The pass to Nielsen, out to McDonald for the shot. Save Emery, rebound. Reed could not clear. Andrew McDonald keeps it in. Heels to Nielsen. Back out McDonald across Vanek. Vanek with a pass. It's tipped. Comes back across the net. Denied once, twice, and it's underneath Emery. Tavares unable to finish from in close. And the Flyers are still ahead by one somehow.
2 for $1 for Tavares there, and Ray Emery's been a busy goaltender in this one. Outstanding save on Michael Grabner's shorthanded breakaway. Battling hard here to hold on to that post against Cal Clutterbuck. He's been outstanding in this game, including in that 2 Martin saves there, and then 2 more on Tavares.
Watch that left pad. Look at the left pad. All of a sudden, it's going to go right up against the post. The puck comes off of the pad. Tavares gets the first chance and goes right back again because that puck went right back onto his stick. And because Emery held his position, made the second save. Whoa, remember that one. That was a dandy.
Well, you remember a lot of them. He has been very good, Ray Emery. He's stopped 18 of 19 Islander shots. Couple seconds remain in this power play. Here's Tavares rumbling it again. Off to Vanek. Vanek trying to get it back to point. Intercepted by Voracek. He had Lecavalier out of the box. Never got it out of the zone. Here's Vanek. The shot. It goes wide. Bounces back out. And there's Hickey. Spinning it up the wall. Downey over after he is checked by Straight. And the Islanders win that battle. Tavares flipping one. Blocked off by Coburn. And he'll now flutter one. It's hit with a high stick by the Islanders. And so play whistle down as they get to the puck. 5:08 remaining. Second period. Flyers back on top.
Flyers lead the New York Islanders 2-1, and 5:08 remaining here in the second period. Let's take a look at our Geico quote. As we have talked to Claude Giroux about up and down as far as the defense is concerned. Well, we can't keep shooting ourselves in the foot like that. We need to do a better job of playing a full 60 minutes. We made a lot of mistakes out there, and we need to do a better job. And you know what, Claude? I think you've done that today. This hockey club is certainly a lot better defensively today as compared to Saturday.
They have been, and Ray Emery's been terrific if there's been any lapses. So it's been a combination of both, and they're going to have to continue to push here against an Islanders team that's got a lot of offensive talent.
They do, and they have a lot of desire to win this hockey game. The Islanders have struggled against the Metropolitan Division. Only 3 wins this year against teams in the division, and they're in a stretch where they're playing 7 out of 9 against divisional opponents. They realize this could be their season. Sitting in last place, but only 10 or so points away from that coveted 3rd spot in the division, so they're still there, but can't afford to have a bad stretch here. Clutterbuck shot, and that one sails wide all the way out to McDonald. He lost it, and it's Giroux heading back with numbers for the Flyers. Giroux hit across the line. Wait, Giroux tried to go across. Voracek was wide open. The pass was tipped away. And now the Islanders fail on a pass trying in the counter rush. Timonen takes Clutterbuck in along the wall. The puck goes back to Matt Cartner. Across. Hickey to Cartner. A little flip shot. Save. Emery. Rebound. Bailey. Poke check by Emery. He needs some help here. Backhander. Another stop by Emery. Oh, he has been so good here of late. Bailey. Back out. Hickey. Worked on by Simmons, who takes the puck away. Timonen checked, and the Islanders really working hard now, winning the battles. They get that puck down low, goes off of Emery's pad, out to the wall again. Giroux will just lob it to the neutral zone.
Josh Bailey's going to be in shock because Emery did a great job of just right at the last second poking that puck away.
Ray Emery has been the story here over the last 4 or 5 minutes, really since the Flyers have taken the lead back. A number of big stops, big plays by the Flyer goaltender to keep his team in the lead. Vanek centering, and a good play there by Streit to keep it away from Matt Martin. Martin throws it across ice. All sealed off by DeHaan. Donovan will play it up the wall, waiting for that is Brayden Schenn. He heard footsteps, and you'll hear footsteps when Matt Martin is approaching, so he just set it to the corner. Don on the other side of the ice comes together with Hall. Nazaros charged at by Martin, who lunges into him. Got the puck deep into the zone. Now it's Hall. And the puck ends up out in the neutral zone. Luke Schenn will lob it back to Islanders ice. 2:45 remaining in this second period. Don chased by Brayden Schenn, then sealed off. Schenn steals his pass for LeCavalier. Intercepted. Schenn gets it back, and his shot goes wide. Reed to LeCavalier. He waits, centers, hoping for Brayden Schenn. Intercepted it. It's Okposo the other way. He dropped it off for Tavares, who zigged when Okposo thought he was going to zag, and the play ends up offside. The puck goes out of play, so face off out in neutral ice. Tonight at 5 o'clock, Michael Barkan is joined by Phillies top sports writers to discuss the Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles on Phillies Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business. Tonight at 5 over on Comcast Sportsnet. Join the conversation at hashtag Phillies Sports Talk. We're feeling they might be talking about those football games that were played yesterday.
Yeah, they're leading with the Flyers. Good job by you, Jimmy. Put some pressure on Michael.
That's not exactly what I was trying to do, but
Wake him up
you
in
think
there.
so.
Hockey time now, buddy.
We're programming your show for you, Michael B.
Yep.
Here is Reed sending the puck down the ice. Islanders trying to move it ahead. It bounces to Grossman, who has to deal with that bouncing puck again. Got it ahead to Reed. Matt Reed skates the puck into the left wing. Reed barreling it again. Reed scores! He did it again! Matt Reed powering in off the left wing. And it is 3-1 Philadelphia as he has his 6th goal of the season against the Islanders. Matt Reed scores for a case of Tasty Cake.
Carries Colin McDonald on his back here. What a play by Matt Reed. The pressure's there the whole way. Watch this move. Presence of mind to just flip it upstairs. Blocker side. They beat him to the glove side with an outstanding backhand shorthanded. And look at the hands on this guy. Off both the post and the crossbar. And it slides up and underneath. Outstanding work from that guy, Matt Reed.
His last 2-goal effort against these Islanders. Not a surprise there, given that he has the 6 goals this season against them. But I think he might have heard somebody say, oh, yeah, he has 4 goals against the Islanders with 3 of them in empty nets, so he has 2 absolute beauties here today.
Well said.
The Flyers open up a 2-goal lead here late in the second period. It's Nielsen to Cal Clutterbuck. Pinched there by Nazaros. Goes into help out, gets it back to Hickey. Long pass to Clutterbuck in center. It's on the money. Clutterbuck get across the Philadelphia line. Drop past Bailey. Bailey tried to center. It's blocked. Bounces to Nielsen side of the net. Emery with Clutterbuck digging away, and also Bailey in the vicinity able to cover up. Now Bailey and Nazaros begin to push and shove. Clutterbuck, a little shot to the face of Giroux. That's not a trade the Flyers want.
Well, you can catch your next Flyers game as soon as tomorrow night from a premium lower-level seat. Get access to a private bar, wait service, and restrooms. Call 215-389-9500 and ask for the latest special premium seating offers. And the Flyers do not want to sit back here. The New York Islanders have carried the play for much of this second period. But a couple outstanding individual efforts from Matt Reed have given the Flyers a 2-goal cushion. But they got to keep going here. This Islanders team has had their chances here in this second period.
Flyers have scored 3 or more goals for the 16th time in their last 18 games. Turn it over here, though. And Timonen very careful with that one. Goes to his knees to knock it down and clear. No icing. Matt Donovan back. Only the Anaheim Ducks have scored at a better clip than the Flyers over the last 6 weeks in the NHL. There's Oposo trying to headman to Tavares. Tavares wrapped up from behind by Coburn, and it's behind getting it in. Hartnell flipping it. Simmons will knock it down. Played that very well. Got to his stick and then out of the zone. Now he's after the puck. Simmons almost got to that to poke it in on goal. Hartnell turns it over. Donovan out to Tavares. Philadelphia line. That'll bounce to Emery, and he's going to melt it down with 29 seconds remaining in the period.
Smart whistle there. Ray Emery's been a busy guy in the second period. Outstanding saves and continues to play well for Craig Berube. Came in relief in the last contest and got a big win after not being tested a whole lot. He's been tested a lot through 2 periods here this afternoon.
Ray Emery, 7-0-1 in his career against the Islanders. Goals against average of 165. There's a shot by Straight that Emery takes care of, and it goes out of play.
Another important defensive zone face-off here. Craig Berube sends out Adam Hall because of the placement of this draw. It's to the right of Ray Emery. Hall, of course, at his best on his backhand, and he'll go head-to-head here with Brock Nelson.
Wait for the puck to be dropped, and Hall won it to Grossman. Grossman on his backhand. He'll get plenty of air underneath that. It goes into the Philadelphia bench. And it was not deflected, so the face-off all the way back into the Philadelphia zone.
Good strong win there for Adam Hall. Both Couturier and Hall on the ice for this draw. The whistle gives Jack Capuano the opportunity to get his star line out on the ice. Tavares will go for the draw this time against Adam Hall, and the Flyers look to arrange the setup with Couturier trying to slow things down a little bit.
Hall and Tavares. And Hall won another one cleanly to Grossman, and again on his backhand. This time he'll reverse the puck to Reed. 13 seconds in the period. Reed's going to go hard up the wall. It hits Vanek in the back. Couturier jamming it onto the neutral zone. Well, the Islanders have to clear the zone. McDonald slides the puck ahead to Tavares. Tavares cross ice, snuffed out by Couturier, and that'll do it for the second period. Flyers score 3 times. Matt Reed gets 2 of them. Both of them goals you're going to see time to time on the highlight reel. Ray Emery outstanding in that second period. The Flyers have a 3-1 lead through 2. Today's Flyers-Islanders second period was brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. This Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $51 million. So play today. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. Players must be 18 years or older. Matt Reed with 2. Wayne Simmons with a goal as well. Tavares for the Islanders, all here in the second period. All the scoring of this game in the second period. The Flyers will take a 2-goal lead into period number 3. Downstairs we go to Steve Coates as he's set to chat with Matt Reed.
Well, Matty, 3 empty net goals against the Islanders this year. Now you decided to let the goalie stay in there and score a couple. Let's talk about the first one, because that's a backhand shot. Did you make a decision because it looked like you might go around the net, and then right at the last second you saw that opening?
Well, it was kind of a 2-on-1 with a back checker, and really I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of waiting for Coots to kind of get his stick open, and ran out of real estate there, and I saw the goalie kind of on his knee, and we just put it up top there, and I got lucky off the post and in.
Well, that one, you could hear the pipe when you got that back, and it was just perfect. But this one, were you a little surprised that Nielsen stayed where he was?
Yeah, I think it was Coots and Vinny were both driving the net there, and I saw the D kind of giving me a lane to the net, and the back checker, he was a couple steps behind me. I just figured get to the net, and once again just kind of went to the net, put it high, and the goalie likes to go down, and again lucky to put it in the back of the net.
Matty, thanks very much.
Thanks, Hosey.
Jimmy, back to you.
He makes it sound so easy. John Boric and Rick Tonkin will analyze the second period as our coverage of Flyers hockey continues on Comcast Sportsnet after this. Here's the answer to today's Jeep Trivia question of the game. It was Edmonton, the Oilers, who denied the Islanders a fifth consecutive Stanley Cup back in 1984. One dynasty ended and another began. Flyers are back in action tomorrow night. They're back on home ice as the Carolina Hurricanes come to town. Hurricanes have been up and down this season, but a dangerous club for sure, as the Flyers and Canes, now part of the same division, of course, in the Metropolitan, will have at it. It's the Flyers and Canes. Our coverage begins with Flyers pregame live at 6:30. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock on Comcast Sportsnet. There's a look at the busy Flyers schedule over the next 2 weeks. Third period action after these messages.
Hey, Jen, I'm looking for something really stylish.
How about a Corolla?
No, something really hot like that one.
That's a Corolla.
Where?
Right there.
The 2014 Corolla has been completely redesigned. It's fun to drive and jam-packed with all the latest technology.
See? Corolla.
Nice.
Get 1.9% APR or lease a 2014 Corolla for $159 a month for 24 months with the Toyota Care maintenance plan included.
It all starts at Toyota. Let's go places.
What is focus? It's a wondrous sensation of clarity and alertness. It's owning your opponent. It's knowing beyond a doubt you got this. It's keeping your head down, your eye on the ball, and knocking it out of the park. It's getting in the zone. It's keeping on your toes, on target, on top. Focus is staring the world in the face and saying, bring it. Focus is power. Focus is life. And 5-Hour Energy is focus.
I'm a skater.
I like to play hockey with my friends.
I'm on the robotics team.
I'm a singer.
I'm a trumpet player. I play baseball, soccer, basketball. I am on a swim team.
In track, I run the 2-mile. I'm student council vice president.
I do a lot of stuff outside of Scouts.
I'm a scout.
I am a scout.
I'm a scout.
I am a scout.
Adventures to remember. Words to live by.
He's a scout!
The #1 website for real Philly fans, with over 50 experts dedicated to Philly's 5 pro teams and the City 6. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, all for $0. That's right, at home and on the go for $0. Your one stop for all your Philly teams, csnphilly.com.
Today's third period on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your Philadelphia Super Network Buick GMC dealers. And by McDonald's. Now McDonald's any size iced coffee or sweet tea is just $1. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Two periods down. Here are our Sugar House Casino statistics through the 2 stanzas. What jumps out at you, Jonesy?
Well, the shots on goal favored the Islanders in that second period, 16-9. Ray Emery came up with a bunch of tough saves. Face-offs favor the Flyers. Power play favors the Islanders, who went 1 for 4.
Most importantly, the goals favor the Flyers, 3 of them in that second period. In fact, all the scoring in this game in that second period. Matt Reed twice. One of them is Shorty, Wayne Simmons as well, and John Tavares for the Islanders. 3-1 Flyers as we get set to start the third period.
There's a look at Matt Reed, who scored 2 of the prettier goals you'll see in that second period. Outstanding work from Matt Reed as far as the offense goes for the Flyers.
Well, let's take a look at our Independence Blue Cross fearless play of the game. Andre Mazzaros, he's been hot in a firecracker, but yeah, you got to be able to stay at home and block shots sometimes. What's this shot? He's going to catch it. Now you go, why? How did he not see that coming? It's going to dive on him. And right at the last second, it hits him in a spot where he really didn't figure he was going to get it. And Wells Fargo check of this afternoon's game. We showed you some rough stuff earlier. Well, how about this one? McDonald's going to get drilled by Braden Shen. First guy in always got to get the body. Second guy gets the puck. Braden Shen with our Wells Fargo great check.
He likes to play the physical game. So we get this third period underway, and Flyers want to spend a little more time in the offensive zone and not rely on Ray Emery quite as much. Cavalier couldn't come up with that bucket. It's Oposo, checked by Couturier, who has been a checking demon in this one. Grossman off Reed's stick. Donovan bunts it ahead, and Tavares will rip it into the Philadelphia zone. Emery goes straight up to Tavares, ready for that, and then gets the puck back into the slot, but Vanek unable to do much with that. Flyers tip it away from him. Couturier moves up and from the red line, he'll twirl it in. Nielsen for Donovan, pestered by Reed. And now Calvin DeHaan will take over, the 22-year-old defenseman. Moves it to Bailey. Donovan, right wing feed. Bailey tipped it, but Raffl steals. Raffl tipping it beyond Donovan, and now the puck into the Islander zone. DeHaan and Voracek after it. Voracek turned around, goes back after it. Raffl arrives on the scene with Bailey, but Bailey able to kick that puck free and get to it. It's cross-ice pass to DeHaan. And now I had too far for Clutterbuck. They wave off icing as Coburn will lob that one out to center ice. Voracek tied up with straight as Nielsen gets to the puck. Ahead for Bailey, who's in a long goal-scoring drought. The Islanders just hoping that he can get his offensive game going. Highly regarded former high draft pick. Setting over to the bench now as he's been on for a long shift here to get this third period going. Flyers knock the puck down at the line, punch it back out as they're making changes. Andrew McDonald rifles it into the Philadelphia zone. Bounces back to Grabner. Now in on goal. Emery able to stop that, but not control it. They jam away. Emery's lost his stick. The puck now taken out to center ice by the Flyers. They live to tell about that. Now Simmons will get to it. Wayne Simmons plays it to himself and then jams it around for Braden Shen. Shen maneuvers away from a check and gets it back out to his brother. Luke will play it in for Hartnell. Scott Hartnell worked on by Andrew McDonald. Centers for Braden Shen. Now Simmons in after, but they never could get a clean shot off, and it's Grabner the other way. Almost as always with speed for him. He lofts it in and he'll go get it. Grabner swings it around to the other corner for Colin McDonald. McDonald drops it off. There's Grabner again, but it never gets to him. Adam Hall there first. He's checked by Cizikas, but Simmons is there to help out, and he pumps it out of the zone. Matt Martin out it in center, ahead to Cizikas. He'll tip it into the Philadelphia zone, but back to get it is Strike. This pass across, it's tipped. Oh, in a good spot, though, to clear it through center ice. So we played almost 3 minutes of this third period. Flyers trying to close things down some. Here's Martin moving up. Chased by Rosehill. Missed him for the most part with that check attempt. Puck bounces free into the slot, and Downey will get it to Rosehill. Rosehill then run off the puck in center. Bolton takes a run at Downey. They're tangled up right by the Islander bench. As the Flyers clear the puck in, we've got a congregation. Rosehill and Bolton now tangled up. Play continues through all this. As Straight moves up, and now whistles finally stop play. That was a long scrum. Martin now on Downey with the glove pulling at his shoulder, and we'll see if any penalties result. The play was stopped, so I assume there will be penalties.
Downey's done a nice job of irritating the New York Islanders in this game. You can see Wayne Simmons behind Downey. Wayne Simmons can provide you the body checks and the fisticuffs if you want it, but it's been all goals for Simmons this year. He's got 17 now on the season. That leads the Philadelphia Flyers. He just continues to find ways to create offense with that big frame in front. Today, no different. Puts on a clinic for young kids at home as he stops in front to get his own rebound attempt.
His next goal will be his 100th. And there you look, since December the 17th, so now over a month, Simmons and Tavares lead the entire NHL in points. Vanek and Crosby one behind. Vanek has added his total here today as well, but I bet you if you polled those who follow the NHL even very closely, they wouldn't realize that Wayne Simmons is at the top of the league over a long stretch like that.
No, they would not. And Simmons has done it not just with the goal scoring, but a bunch of assists lately. And somebody lost the contact lens there, Coates?
No,
or what?
I bet you what they're looking for is Steve Downey's hearing aid.
Oh, wow.
Okay, because when he gets into a skirmish, that happens an awful lot. We've seen this before. They're going to keep looking for it, but Downey's in the penalty box along with Bolden as they just wouldn't separate over there. Bolden had a hold of Downey's sweater. He tried to get away. The linesman tried to break him up. And finally, Justice St. Pierre came over and said, I've had enough. You guys are both going to the box. But I would say that that's probably what it is. It's Downey's hearing aid.
I'm not sure they ever found it. I think Eric Settlemyre has gone back to the locker room to get a replacement.
Well, that was for Braden Shen. Braden Shen had a piece of his equipment break before he headed off after his last shift. And Settlemyre just handed that down to Braden Shen, who's fixing the skate guard right now.
All right, so let's hope they have Downey straightened out. Here's Oposo moving in. The angle shot off of Emery bounces right out in front. Donovan shot, and Emery makes the save again. Frustrates yet another Islander.
And 4-on-4 can benefit the New York Islanders in this situation, especially with the skills of John Tavares. It's not the best situation for the Flyers here in the third period as the Islanders try to get a little more open ice to create some chances. And there, Donovan, the defenseman, jumps in and fires that one.
Emery getting visitors. This game has gone along. This puck bouncing around. Mazaros finally able to control. Hounded by Oposo. Mazaros into traffic, lost the puck, but a hooking penalty caused him to lose the puck. And so the Flyers now get a power play and a 4-on-3 advantage, a chance to increase their lead.
And this is just more strong play from Andre Mazaros. He just keeps moving his feet, forces the little hook there from Oposo, which if you're Jack Capuano, you're not going to like very much. There wasn't much there. But the hard work of Mazaros draws it. The Flyers head to the power play.
4-on-3, a little bit more ice as far as to be able to work with for Claude Giroux and his cohorts.
Flyers will send out Giroux, Lecavalier, Simmons, and Streit in the quartet. And object number one was winning the draw. They didn't get that done. The Islanders able to clear it all the way down. There's your McDonald's power play payoff contestant. Third power play of the game for the Flyers. Streit with speed. The right wing dish to Giroux. Sends it around the board. Simmons moves it deeper into the zone. He's checked. Giroux will get it back out. Streit did keep it in right at the line. The bouncing puck settles it now and gets to Giroux. They go play catch with it. Giroux now looking down low. There's Simmons. He waits. Back to Giroux. Holding on to it. Giroux waits. And he gave it to Streit reluctantly. Now it's Giroux. The one-timer. It hits Simmons. Bounces back out. And there is Streit. Giroux very patient are the Flyers here. Now Lecavalier, the one-timer, but it was off target and goes all the way down.
Set play there. Vinny Lecavalier just lighting up into that slap shot there, but up and over the net, and the Flyers forced to regroup.
25 seconds remaining in the concurrent minors. Simmons for Lecavalier. He'll turn with it, look to the net, and then give it back to Streit. Streit to Giroux. Right back to Streit. The one-timer save and no rebound. Simmons did take a shot at the goaltender. You could hear his stick hit the pads. The puck wasn't free, but he was playing until he heard the whistle. Islanders objected to that.
Good discipline by Simmons not to retaliate in front there. The 2014 NCAA Frozen Four is coming to the Wells Fargo Center on April 10th and 12th, and tickets are on sale now. Secure access to 2 semifinal games and the national championship game, all included in the price of one ticket. Don't miss the celebration of college hockey right here in Philadelphia.
McDonald ridden into the boards by Hartnell. Good job by Hartnell to recapture the puck for the Flyers so they can operate on this power play. It's to Timonen. Now Mazaros moving in. Deals to Shen. Back to Mazaros. Holding, waiting, moving cross ice, getting checked. And then it's Timonen poking it to the corner. It's now a 5-on-4, and there's 27 seconds remaining on the Oposo minor. Mazaros getting some power play time. Now behind the net. Braden Shen tried to step in front, could not. Hartnell kicks the puck free to Voracek. Voracek dragging it to the circle. He's quickly converged upon, got it back to Mazaros across. Here's Timonen. Timonen looks to the middle. And then right back to Mazaros. Power play is over in 3 seconds. Voracek holds. Fire save. Nielsen the rebound tipped away from Shen. And now out of the box. Jumps Oposo. Drifting back was Mazaros. Clutterbuck will carry the puck in. Clutterbuck comes to a stop, but he's checked along the wall. And now the puck back around to the other side. There's Tavares. Centering it in front. Goes all the way through. Back out to Hanna. The Hanna shot. Save. Emery. Rebound in the slot. And there's a penalty coming up. Timonen is sitting on top of an Islander. That doesn't sit well pardon the pun, with the Islanders. Voracek is injured, and he is heading straight to the locker room, looking at his left hand. So a lot to talk about here. It appears an Islander power play when we return.
Flyers up by 2. Islanders heading to the power play. Cal Clutterbuck got away with a slash against one of the Flyers' top players in Jake Voracek. There's the slash to the hand of Voracek. Voracek headed off the ice after this slash from Cal Clutterbuck. And at the other end, it was Timonen trying to make amends.
It looks like he was trying to pin him to be able to close out the match. Right there, you can see Timonen's just holding Clutterbuck down, and Clutterbuck's trying to get up, can't get up. But it's going to be Timo Timonen that's going to pick up the penalty.
Clutterbuck was maybe trying to get up, but he was also trying to punch Timonen in the face.
Yes, he was.
I think he was more concerned about getting shots at Timonen than getting up. But either way, Hall ends up with the hooking minor, and the Islanders with their 5th power play and a chance to get within 1. Big kill here for the Flyers. Minute back, couldn't get it past Nielsen. He'll spin it to open ice on the other side. Couturier over. And a good job by Andrew McDonald to get there and deny Couturier clearing lane. Tavares centers. Vanek shot, and Emery fought that one off, and it goes out of play. One of the top snipers on the power play over the NHL in the last decade. Denied by Emery right there.
What a read by Ray Emery here after the Islanders do a nice job of getting the puck to the open man, and Thomas Vanek, their best sniper, he tries to raise it up, but Emery lifts the shoulder and blocks it.
This is just one-on-one. This is exactly one-on-one between a goaltender and a shooter. And you can see that Vanek had an opportunity to be able to actually wind up and let that one go, and Emery charged out to be able to get a piece of it.
Islanders win the draw and have it again. Oposo back to Andrew McDonald for a shot. That hit a body out in the slot. Oposo in the corner. Check. Coburn tries to clear. He got it as far as Giroux. He could not get it past Andrew McDonald. Now Raffle lifts the stick. Puck bouncing free. Backhanded, but Andrew McDonald over. Kept it in momentarily. Now finally it does hop to center ice as Raffle continued to force the play. Now Nielsen. The pass to Oposo. They're back into the zone. He's checked by Timonen, and the puck cleared up and out by Coburn. Outstanding puck pressure by the Flyers thus far. Andrew McDonald has it back to Vanek, flipping it ahead. Andrew McDonald trying to get it to Tavares. He was checked in front. Flyers move the puck ahead to Couturier, and he'll lob one all the way down.
What a heads-up play by Kimmo Timonen at the end of the shift there. Tired, but still using his intelligence to move that puck to Couturier, who sends it down the ice.
33 seconds on the man advantage. Clutterbuck rams it into the Philadelphia zone. Donovan looking for Bailey, but instead finding Couturier, who outlets just out of the reach of Matt Reed. But the puck does wind up all the way beyond the Islander goal line. One last rush with the man advantage for New York. Bailey laterally in the neutral zone, now cutting it across the line. Swings it deep into the zone. Luke Schenn is right there. Tries the boards. DeHaan's waiting for it. Flips one. That one gone wide of the net on its own, but it was batted away. Now the Islanders have it back, center it in front, and they score. All alone in front was Brock Nelson, and he gets the Islanders back within a goal. It's 3-2.
Adam Hall just exited the penalty box, but couldn't get back in the play in time. And a nice little pass down low by Josh Bailey, who finds Nelson in front of the net. Nelson released from the corner and jumps out there and has a tap in after the nice feed from Bailey.
Nelson's going to come a little late here. Emery's going to go pipe to pipe. Here comes the pass. And when that puck comes right across, Nelson kind of sneaks right off the pipes, got all sorts of net. And that was a tough play for Ray Emery. And when Nelson snuck, the two defenders there for the Flyers just couldn't get to him on time.
So the lead is down to 1, and you can bet the Islanders are going to charge now. Straight. Clutterbuck stopped. Here's Schenn getting the puck down low to Hartnell, and he couldn't get it through as Andrew McDonald, the NHL shot block leader, just laid out. Got in the way. Clutterbuck the other way for a shot. Emery the save, and it stayed in play, they say. High stick on the boards on Frans Nielsen. He does all he can to accentuate that he got hit, but no call is made. And Simmons will play it deep into the Islanders zone now. Whistle stopping play. Frans Nielsen has some damage. Might have been friendly fire. I'm not sure. There was a bit of a agglomeration of players here. I think that is his teammates think, is it not?
Yeah, he and Mazzaros are both there. And it is his teammate's stick, I believe. Both players, Mazzaros and the Islander, had white tape on their blades, so I'm not 100% sure which guy made the contact there.
No call made, and so it remains 5-a-side hockey. And the Islanders control. Kartner ahead. Martin steers in. Bolton and on Luke Schenn. Cizikas follows up. Cizikas for Martin. And now Bolton. Forced by Luke Schenn. Puck spins around to the other side. Rosehill, good job to get that puck back, but then it's coughed up by Mazzaros. Here's Cizikas. Holding, waiting, trying to center it. Gets caught upside of the net. Rosehill couldn't clear. Right there is Kartner. Now Martin and Schenn come together. Two big bodies right there. They continue to battle, and Martin has the puck. Right to center. It comes through. Shot by Hickey. Blocked. Bounces free again. Boy, that puck is bouncing all over the place, and finally it goes out to center. Laid back in.
Bounced right out of the zone there off the stick of Bolton, and Flyers catch a break there. They're able to get fresh legs on the ice and see if they can get the momentum going back in their direction.
Giroux will spin this one deep. Unfamiliar territory for the Flyers here of late, trying to protect the lead. They've been coming from behind so much of late, they haven't had to try to protect leads in the third, and they want to end up with that hanging on mentality.
And having to do so without Jake Voracek right now, who has not returned to the Flyers bench.
Being evaluated, we're told. After taking that slash, here is DeHaan. Moving up, we passed the midpoint of this third period. Grossman turning, Grabner in on him. Grossman keeps him away from the puck. Try to move it ahead. Tavares got his stick on it. Now Grossman will try the other side of the ice. LeCavalier turns with it and fires it across ice. It came out to center back in, so the Islanders would have been offside. They'll take this opportunity to make it line change. And the Flyers are changing as well. Coburn pops it back to Grossman off the stick of Reed into the Islanders zone. Couturier hunting it down with straight. The body check. McDonald will move the puck ahead. There's a Poso. To straight. And now off Vanek. It hit the linesman's skate. Stayed out of the Flyers zone. Moves ahead to Reed, and he'll just stab it into the New York Islanders zone. Wilson will play it up. Vanek is there. Reed catching him, stealing the puck momentarily, but then Tavares takes over and gets it back to Vanek. Vanek is overtaken as Reed steals it again. Got it back to Mazzaros. And off the stick of Downey into the Islanders zone.
Great work from Matt Reed again and tracking that puck, forcing the Islanders to spend a lot of time in their own zone here.
Now they'll move up. Bailey made the nice play to set up Nelson on that goal. Pumps it into the Philadelphia zone. Goes after it with Coburn. Tipped it free to Nielsen. He tried to center it. Bounces back to him. And now Kartner is shot from the point well wide. In comes Hickey. Hickey centering. There's Nielsen. Deals it back. Kartner shot. Hit a body and it's fought up out the other way. Space in front of Braden Schenn, but coming back is Nielsen. Braden Schenn turning with it. Goes across ice. Hartnell plays it off the wall. Quick shot, and Nielsen able to make the save. That's Anders Nielsen. Now Thomas Hickey. He's looking for Bailey. He was heading to the bench. Clutterbuck from his knees. Got it to the Philadelphia line. Flyers sort of Alphonse and Gaston it there. The Islanders take the puck. Bolton will drop it back. Flyers will change.
Right guy got the puck for the Islanders there, and Eric Bolton alertly just gets rid of it.
Islanders move it ahead to Martin. He'll redirect into the Philadelphia zone. Giroux back to get it. Pass for strike could not be handled. And now Martin. And now whistle. And a hand pass. Hand pass spotted. 7:35 left in the third. Flyers lead by 1. Flyers lead the Islanders here late. Coming up later on Sportsnet at Comcast Sportsnet. Let's get a preview. Send it back to Philadelphia to Mr. Danny Pamels.
All right, JJ, thanks. Wells Fargo Sports Night coming your way at 6 o'clock. We will have highlights from the Sixers, who are also playing an MLK Day matinee from the nation's capital. Meanwhile, here at the Wells Fargo Center, the newly minted top 4 team of the country, the Villanova Wildcats, according to the AP poll, crack the top 5. They take on nationally ranked Creighton here at the Wells Fargo Center. We'll have a preview of that action. Plus, Richard Sherman, the Seattle Seahawks cornerback, polarizing to say the least. We'll have his post-game comments from last night and kind of dissect those and let you know what some people think around the Twitter universe, as well as Richard Sherman's polarizing ideas and things like that coming up on Wells Fargo Sports Night. Until then, we'll send it back to New York to JJ, Jonesy, and Coatsy.
Well, thank you very much as we take a look at our Hyundai saved. And we're going to say saves of the game because Ray Emery, spectacular right there. That save is on Tavares. And then another one right in close. Once again, the telescopic leg. The save on John Tavares, and this one, well, the other one I wanted to show you was the one that Josh Bailey had a wide open net, and right at the last second, Emery just pushed the stick out and poke checked that puck away.
There have been a whole bunch of great saves by Mr. Emery in this one. Here's LeCavalier trying to center, puck bounced back, and Raffl nearly got to that. Now back the other way, Clutterbuck. Lobs it, knocked down by Mazzaros, got it ahead to Raffl, who was strong on the puck and got it out to center. Straight wiped out, but Josh Bailey able to get to it for the Islanders. Flyers again, without Jake Voracek. Left this game here in the third with an apparent hand injury after a slash. Cavalier did take a shift with Giroux and Raffl. Now you got a mixed line out there. Here's Bailey, tried to center it, deflects all the way back out to Straight. Straight deals along the left wing to Oposo. Oposo to Tavares into the slot. Flyers need a clear here. Reed gets to Giroux, and he turned it over to Tavares. Tavares down low. That goes off of Coburn. Into the other side of the ice. Oposo handing off. The puck deflecting wide. Giroux. Get it up the wall. Downey gets to it, but he's quickly checked by Oposo. Does move it ahead, but still not out of the zone. Tavares worked on by Downey. Got it back out to Straight. Straight with a shot, and that takes off and finds glass. Not sure if Emery got a piece of that or not. The hand trying to get it to Tavares. Oposo knocks it down now in the corner. Flyers getting some player changes that they needed as that puck pinned, and we get the stoppage in play. 5:58 remaining in the third. For the lead, 3-2. It's possible this is their last ever game in this building. Islanders actually scheduled to move to Brooklyn after next season, but there's talk the Islanders trying to get out of the lease to move to Barclays Center. Here's a shot off the drop block. Rebound back to Oposo, and that shot blocked by Reed. Another shot by Oposo is blocked. Boy, a loss of a face-off there, and it led to all kinds of tenuous moments in the defensive zone. Here's DeHaan. The pass to Tavares. Tavares wheeling in. And then turning. Getting it back out to the point. Donovan sent it wide of the net. Batted at. And there's Tavares again. Tavares around behind. Marked by his former teammate Streit. On around behind the net. That gets through Oposo. Donovan back deeper. Couturier is out. Got the puck. Chipped it, but Donovan knocked it down and kept it in. Oposo checked by Couturier, but gets it back. Cross ice. Pass by Vanek is knocked down. Flyers failed clear again as Streit didn't get it out, but good work by the forwards, Couturier and Downey, to maneuver it to center, but right back in go the Islanders. Oposo to Vanek. Across ice it goes. The side angle try blocked off, but goes back to Donovan again. To Vanek, who's left alone behind the net. He's dangerous here. Vanek holding on, man dumped in front, no call. Vanek whips one through the slot. Flyers really on their heels. Here's DeHaan. Flipping one, it goes off a stick wide. Oposo to it. Circling. Back out it goes. DeHaan, a shot deflected, and it goes to the corner. Couturier out. He's overtaken. They get it back to DeHaan. Moves to the middle. Fires blocked. Nelson to the puck. Flyers need a clear, a whistle. Something like that. Nelson across. Back to DeHaan at the point. Holding on. Good play by Downey to block the pass, but again couldn't clear. He grabs DeHaan. That's a penalty. No whistle yet. Delayed call. Extra attacker on. Shot. Batted away by Emery. He's knocked down in front. No penalty. Emery can't get back up. Oposo now has it. Play carries on. Oposo shot. It squeezes wide off a deflection. Tavares. Pass tipped by Hartnell. No whistle. Looked like he played it. Now he goes back in. Hits it again. No whistle. Couturier plays it. No whistle. Finally, the whistle stopping play. But the power play begins for the Islanders with 3:44 remaining. Only a matter of time before either a goal against or a penalty, because the Flyers could not get the puck out of the zone.
No, Islanders did a good job of using the points and forcing the Flyers to chase that puck around. Some shot attempts with some deflections by Vanek, and then Steve Downey, after making a nice block, chased that puck over and got a little too much of the Islander trying to squeeze past him. DeHaan down the wall, and he gets the penalty.
A little bit too aggressive right there. As you can see him, lost his stick. Good play. That's kind of like pit house to the outhouse right there, because that's not a very good penalty at this point in the hockey game.
Timeout called. Islanders organizing for this power play.
Well, the Flyers face off against two Eastern Conference opponents at home this week when they take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow night at 7, followed by the Boston Bruins on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Call now to lock your seats in for two great games. And fasten your seat belts for the end of this one.
Well, we had mentioned earlier that Flyers didn't want, as you see Doug Waite instructed there, Flyers did not want to get into the hanging on mentality, but they really have been hanging on through much of this third period.
And really, after Voracek left this game and really messed up the line combinations, the Flyers have been in scramble mode here, but Ray Emery's had the answer so far.
The desperate Islanders team. We detailed their situation earlier. And Capuano pointing something out. Wait. Now the puck is dropped. The power play underway, and the Islanders go right to work as they win the draw. Nielsen. Tavares. Tavares worked down by Thibaudet. Got it back to Andrew McDonald. He'll wind and fire. Blocked out high, but kept in by McDonald, and he'll slip it back to Tavares. Tavares moving it off the wall with it. Was back out to Oposo. He'll wind up and blast. Blocked by Timonen. And Couturier will clear all the way down. That one might have stung Kimo a little, but he's staying out on the ice.
Both Coburn and Timonen with key blocks there. The Flyers giving the Islanders the point shots, and the two defensemen come up with the blocks.
Here's Oposo. Gaining the line with speed to Tavares. Tavares back out McDonald. All kinds of room. He'll fake the shot. Flip it. In front. Oposo scores. Tic-tac-toe, and the power play goal ties the game at 3.
Couple of point shots to start it, and then an intelligent play from the point from Andrew McDonald, who doesn't shoot it. Instead, he fakes it and slides it over to Franz Nielsen, who releases from the front of the net. And that opens things up for Kyle Oposo as Coburn just can't get back in time.
When Adam Hall sprawled, that forced McDonald right here not to take the shot and then make the pass down low. And then you've got Oposo right off of the pipe. Now this is being reviewed.
Yeah, you can see right there, though, Coach, he got his stick on it. So this will be a short review.
Actually, it was a pretty good job by Oposo because the puck was bouncing. Bounces right there, and he still got a piece of it. Not a lot of it, but enough. Enough to get across the goal line.
Hard to tell if he got it on the overhead, but that angle we showed before from ice level appeared to indicate that he did make contact with the puck with his stick.
There's another look at it here. In behind the ref, there's the swing at it there.
Well, you know what? You look at it there, it might have been bouncing.
Not sure if it hit the skate first. That's what we got to be able to determine. Like, it's a bouncing puck here. You do see the skate, but I can't tell on that angle past the referee if he makes contact with it there. Looks like he misses it with the stick, but I'm not sure on the original contact. Let's see if we can get a different angle of that. Here we go. Comes across. That is off the foot. Now they'll try to determine whether or not it was a distinct kicking motion or not, but it clearly is off the foot, and he misses it with the blade of the stick before it goes into the net.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, I thought it did.
That's an optical illusion there. If you look at it really slow, though, you can see that he missed it, so it's all a matter whether it was a kicking motion or not, and that's the decision that has to be made from the Situation Room. That decision has been made, so we'll get the announcement from Dennis Leroux.
After review, the ruling on the ice is confirmed. The puck goes off his skate. It's not kicked.
They said it did go off his skate. I don't think he said it went off his stick, and so it was no kicking motion.
Couldn't hear the end of it. No. The fan reaction here as the Islanders get things tied up.
So we start over with 2:58 remaining here in the third. Oposo reaches the 20-goal mark for the second time in his career. And the Flyers go back to get the puck here. Oh, straight line pass up the wall. Kyle McDonald got a piece of it, but now the Flyers have it. Braden Shen, he'll chip it in. Wayne Simmons pursues. Don and Simmons after the puck. Hartnell's in after it as well. A scratch and claw, and it's Hartnell to it. Written by Donovan, trying to get it back to the point. Matt Martin had other ideas, and he'll start back with the puck. Martin to the red line. The Philadelphia line. Got a shot off, batted away by Emery. Now it'll go to the quarter boards. Grossman decides to turn back with it. Colin McDonald's coming his way. So Grossman will get the puck to his defense mate. Straight ahead for Simmons and into the Islander zone. Here is Straight. Moving it ahead. The USA chant from the fans here in regards to Oposo not being selected for Team USA in the upcoming Olympics. Here's Raffle in. Raffle tied up by Andrew McDonald, but Nielsen to the puck, got it out to center, back in offside. Mazzaros unable to keep that puck along the line. 1:47 to play.
Gordie Howe hat trick for Kyle Oposo in this afternoon's game, and I don't blame the fans for chanting his name the way he's played. Picks up his 20th goal of the season, fights Braden Coburn, and picks up an assist to go along with it. Jack Capuano quick to get him back on the ice here.
Player who's really blossomed this year, 49 points now. He has 20 points in his last 19 games. Some will say it's because he plays with Tavares. Certainly that helps, but he's done a lot of the work himself. Puck ahead, Tavares tips it to Oposo, and out he goes. To the Philadelphia line, swings wide with it. The shot, Emery makes the save and is able to cover up before Tavares could get there.
Well, let's take a look at our Toyota turning point. The Flyers are leading 3-2. Steve Downey's going to pick up a penalty, allowing the Isles to go to a power play. And watch Kyle Oposo. Oh, yeah. It went off the skate as he gets a real nice pass right across the goal crease area. But it was deemed a goal, and that is our Toyota turning point now with the Islanders and Flyers tied at 3.
Islanders win the draw. Tavares gets it back to DeHaan. Across with room. The shot, Hickey, and it's batted away to the corner. DeHaan a shot, batted away side of the net. More pressure from the Islanders. Now Coburn tries to relieve that pressure. His pass off the stick of Couturier, but they could not get it across the red line. Grossman picks it up, swings back, and then whips it up the wall past McDonald. And they're going to rule that icing. Went right past him, but icing is the call. Face off in the Philadelphia zone.
Take a look at our roster. Top shelf performers in this afternoon's game. Matt Reed picks up 2 goals on 3 shots, 1 shorthanded marker. Wayne Simmons, team leading 17th goal of the season. Emery's been outstanding. Tavares continues to find ways to get points. Brock Nelson and Kyle Oposo pick up goals for Oposo 20 on the season.
Greg Berube has utilized his timeout after that icing. They've had some fatigued players, also time to organize the final 62 seconds of regulation.
Kimmo Timonen just exited the rink and headed down the tunnel towards the Flyers dressing room, and the Flyers already without Jake Voracek will have to get through the last moments of regulation without another one of their veteran leaders.
Remember, Kimmo blocked that shot. You guys talked about it during that penalty kill where the Islanders scored, and you were a little worried about whether he was going to stay out. He did stay out, but hopefully he's going to be fine, but that could be the reason.
Islanders with all the momentum right now. This is a divisional game. They want to win this in regulation. And they win the draw. McDonald shot, save Emery, rebound out to the high slot. Bailey check. Coburn got his stick in there. Reed the other way, has 2 on the day. He'll chip it deep and then chase. Nielsen gets there first. Guides it to the quarter. Giroux back for Reed. Nielsen and Reed come together. Reed won the battle, got the puck to Coburn. In his skates, he'll wrist one wide of the net. Now Simmons after it. Takes his man to the boards. Giroux after the puck. Giroux back for Simmons. Bailey checked him. And now Clutterbuck will back at his center. Coburn not quite sure how to handle that one. Did well with it out of his skates, but then threw it across ice, and right there is Nelson to wind it into the Philadelphia zone. Emery stops it. Hands off. Andre Mazzaros. 22 seconds remaining in the third. Coburn up, looking for Raffle. Goes through him and off the stick of Hickey. Thomas Hickey across to Calvin DeHaan. DeHaan gains the red line and floats one. Emery's going to glove it, keep it in play. Didn't want the defensive zone draw. Straight to the puck, banks it off the boards, out to the neutral zone. 5 seconds remaining in the third. Flyers with the puck. Giroux ahead. Raffle perhaps one last shot. He's surrounded, and there's the horn. Ending regulation time. So each team has garnered a point. And now we head to the 5-minute 4-on-4 overtime.
Kimmo Timonen returning right now. It looked like it was a skate issue as he's checking his blades as he's skating around a little bit towards the middle of the ice. There's Matt Reed, who picked up 2 goals in regulation. He'll try to get his hat-trick goal in the overtime, and there's Kimmo Timonen. And that's good news to see the veteran defender back on the ice as we head to overtime. 42 Islander shots through 3 periods. Ray Emery's been outstanding.
These are updated Metropolitan Division standings, with each team having picked up a point already. The Flyers, if they can get the extra point in this one, will move into second. They have played fewer games than the Rangers. The Islanders just trying to climb. They got a lot of teams to move over, but not that many points. They're only 10 points behind the Flyers, so they're very much still in the thick of it.
Some crazy numbers of the Metropolitan Division of late. The only team sliding is the Washington Capitals. Everybody else continues to climb. We did see Jake Voracek momentarily come out with his uniform on and head over towards the Flyers bench, and then he quickly exited as he goes back in through the tunnel there. So not sure exactly what is going on with Jake.
Well, we get ready for the 4-on-4 overtime. Islanders, you look at Craig Berube, the Flyers 1-1 in games decided in the extra session. The Islanders have won twice in overtime and lost 4 times in the overtime. As you mentioned, you'd think they'd be a dangerous team with the supreme talent of Tavares in the open ice, and he will start the overtime, but they've given up some as well. So we are underway here in the overtime. The puck ahead to Matt Reed. Reed will carry the puck in. Off the left wing, it's worked for him. This time he'll try to pass the puck as he was cut off. Couturier to it. Couturier fighting off to Hahn. Hands off to Timonen. Timonen in front. Reed was all alone, but it went off his leg. Now he's back to it. He'll roll it around. Timonen in again. Takes a look. His pass back. Reed trying to handle that off the glass. Does so. Reed all the way out toward the line with it. His pass across tipped on its way to Timonen. Timonen around behind for Couturier. Couturier working through the checking of DeHaan. Couturier takes a look. Timonen is heading to the bench, so Couturier has nowhere to go out at the line. Now he waits and passes to Timonen's replacement Streit, who fires off the glove of Nielsen. And then Coburn races over to interrupt what could have been an Islander rush. The Flyers have the puck back. It's Couturier back to Streit. Tavares still out on the ice for the Islanders. As here's Coburn. Lecavalier. Cross to Streit. And in. Giroux could not get the puck. It's Tavares the other way. Tavares to the Philadelphia line, given lots of room. Tavares pass across ice, and that one bounces away, and now it's Giroux the other way. Looking to see if he has help coming. Giroux cuts on in. Giroux to the middle. Giroux the shot, and it sails high and wide. Now McDonald gets to it. Andrew McDonald head manning. Tavares finally heading to the bench. Flyers get the puck. Here's Luke Schenn. For Giroux, and now Lecavalier. Back to Giroux on the right wing. Giroux back to Lecavalier. Quick shot goes wide. Giroux has the puck again. Takes a look back to Mazaus. The big blast missed the target. Luke Schenn could not move the puck deep. And it's Clutterbuck looking to start the Islanders back. To Nielsen. Crisscrossing. Nielsen. Poke check. Flyers have it back. Brayden Schenn moving it ahead too far for Hartnell. Could have been icing, and they do. Call it icing at the last moment.
The attempted pass by Brayden Schenn just a little bit ahead of Scott Hartnell, and then the speed of Calvin DeHaan, who's been terrific for the New York Islanders over the last couple of games. Good young defenseman that's finally healthy for Gar Snow. Gets the icing against the Flyers.
2 minutes into the overtime. Luke Schenn moving that ahead. Brayden, his younger brother, gets to center and just throws it across ice. DeHaan will jump on that. DeHaan holds and fires. Save Emery. Big rebound. Luke Schenn able to keep it away from DeHaan. Luke Schenn played it behind the net. Vanek's right there. Centers it. DeHaan to the backhand. Ran out of room and lost the puck. Now he's got it back. Out the other side. He's passed to Vanek for a shot that's blocked. Mazaus will go back around behind his own net, and Luke Schenn has to deal with Vanek. Hartnell dips back to get to the puck, and he'll start up. Pass in the middle. Brayden Schenn. It's back with it and now spots Timonen. Timonen to Hartnell. Hartnell right back to his longtime teammate. Timonen off the back of the net, and then it bounces to Andrew McDonald. Checked by Hartnell. Knocked down by Hartnell. Giroux trying to dig the puck out of there, and instead we get a stoppage in play. And of course, coming up, once this one comes to its conclusion, will be Flyers post-game live presented by McDonald's. Rick Tocchet Bourque set to analyze this one.
Lots to talk about in this one. Exciting game this afternoon, and some points are bigger than others. I think this was a good point for the Flyers because the Islanders had their skating legs the last half of this game.
The Islanders had 33 shots in the second and third periods. They're up to 43 for the game. Stick goes flying. Simmons has the puck. Centers it. They deal. Giroux the shot. St. Nielsen rebound. Simmons turns and fires. Oh, it hit Nielsen as he was at the side of the net. Giroux out toward the point. Streit, a cross-ice pass. Grossman will backhand to Simmons. Still an Islander without a stick. Simmons realizes that it's Streit without a stick. Giroux holds. Cross-ice to Streit. Streit holding on, looking for a seam, can't find it, and then turns it over. He did not keep it in the zone, would have been offside. Andrew McDonald will fire it ahead. Nelson couldn't come up with that. They wave off icing.
Nielsen doesn't know whether he should go get a stick. He's stuck. He's got a straight stick to his left and his goalie stick at the bottom of the circle. Now Oposo's going to come over and grab it.
Flyers took a long time and gave him the opportunity to get his stick back. But here's Couturier racing in. Couturier all the way around behind. Couturier takes a look and now gets to Coburn. Coburn will deal on the wall. Timonen flips one, deflected and went wide into the final minute of overtime. Couturier dealing with that loose stick. The other loose stick for the Islanders. And now he's tied up. They jam for it. 3 Islanders, 3 Flyers after the puck. Flyers come away with it. Coburn going toward his own zone. Got it back to Couturier, who slid it in for Reed. Still dealing with that loose stick. Reed back to Couturier. Across. Mazaros will flip one that went wide. Coburn in deep, couldn't flag it down. Now Tavares trying to clear. Got it to center. Coburn watches as Couturier knocks it down, and then Coburn gets the puck. Quickly to Reed. Reed cutting in, trying to get it back to Couturier. Broken up. Now the shot goes wide as Giroux came flying into the play. Final 17 seconds. Coburn a shot blocked in front by Hickey. And the Islanders have it. One last rush. And it's Tavares. Tavares to the line. Could not get through the defense. Emery will jump on the puck. Islanders will get an offensive zone draw.
Wow. Some opportunities there for the Philadelphia Flyers. And Anders Nielsen is going to be happy with this one that goes off his back. Here's the attempt by Giroux. A nice glove block there. And then the puck goes right off the backside.
Does that come as a save when you're not facing the right way?
I think it was going wide.
Yeah, could have.
Because it drilled him.
It's fortunate it just didn't bounce in off.
Yeah,
right.
That's bad luck because you figure that was cooking too.
Face off here. 6 seconds remaining. Islanders cannot win it. Hall jams it around. Back behind. Grossman to it. He will occupy the puck. And the horn sounds ending overtime. We will have a shootout. Flyers and Islanders tied at 3 through 65 minutes of hockey. And so the tiebreaker will be applied here. The shootout ahead. Seems like we've been having a lot of these lately.
Yes, and nobody in this building is leaving. This was an outstanding game this afternoon. Matt Reed, of course, doing a lot of the individual work as far as the goal scoring for the Philadelphia Flyers, picking up 2 goals, including a shorthanded marker. And Islanders still trying to drop some plays here in the shootout, I guess.
He's picking his players. 3-3. The shootout when we return. There's your score, 3-3. And all that's left now is the shootout as the scorekeepers get a look at the shooters. There's your upside down reading there, Jonesy.
Not good.
No, neither is mine. We'll find out soon enough.
Reading straight up can be a problem.
Islanders have chosen to go first. Home team has that choice. Ray Emery will be participating in a shootout for the first time this year for his career. 7-13 in shootouts for Ray Emery. And Nielsen will take part in his first ever NHL shootout.
No book on Nielsen. Should favor the goaltender.
Well, you heard Matt Reed in his conversation with coaches say you like to get him down and shoot high.
Yep.
So we'll see if we see some deeks. The Islanders 5-3 this year in shootouts. The Flyers are 3-4 all time. These teams have split 4 shootouts. Denis Lecavalier, Claude Giroux, and Matt Reed will be the shooters for the Flyers. as they will shoot second.
Vinny's had some good success here. Picked up that hat trick earlier this season on a visit to the Nassau Coliseum.
As tight as the standings are, I know the old school hockey people who don't like the shootout don't like this, but it might very well be how a team does in these shootouts that determines whether or not they make the playoffs.
No question. In the Metropolitan Division, there's no doubt that the shootouts are going to come to play. And for the Flyers, they want to push the Islanders down a little bit further away from it.
All time, of course, Flyers do not have a good shootout record. Been a little better this year, although still, as we said, below 500 at 3-4. Islanders traditionally been a pretty good shootout team and have won 5 of 8 this year. As Nielsen will get things started, and he is the best active shooter in terms of percentage in the NHL. Shootouts, 54%, 29 or 53 in his career. And he's 4 for 8 this year, so clearly Jack Capuano says, let's get the lead right from the start of this shootout. He puts his best out there to start.
His patented move is to the backhand, but he's fired a couple 5-hole this year and changed it up a little bit.
Nielsen from Denmark, first born and trained NHL player from that country. Waiting for the go-ahead a long time. The end of overtime to start this shootout. Of course, they clean the ice, scrape the ice in the middle, so it'll be as true as possible. The puck hasn't been a little true here all day, though.
Been bouncing, and I guess there was an issue with Jack Capuano's shooting choices. He had to bring the list back out of his pocket and send it over.
I believe we're ready to go here. Just waiting for the go-ahead. All right, Frans Nielsen, the first shooter. And he scores to the backhand.
A different angle than he normally uses when he goes to the backhand. He usually comes straight at the goaltender. This time he swings wide and brings it over, elevates the puck, and beats Ray Emery to the glove side.
Vinny Lecavalier will try to tie things back up. Won a shootout for the Flyers earlier this year with a goal. He's in fact 2 for 5 this year, and you see his career numbers. Almost 26%. That's this good percentage in terms of this year at 2 for 5. He's swerving his way in. Deeks and is denied by the young goaltender.
Well, he tried to get the goaltender Nielsen moving. And when he does, he's going to go back and forth, rolling, and then all of a sudden, the last second, he's going to go right, come back on the forehand to the left. But right there, you see Nielsen using his size, throw that right pad out to make a good save.
So now it's Vanek with a chance to give the Islanders a 2-goal lead in the shootout. 2 for 5 this year. And the Austrian deliberately on in. Denied. Emery got a piece.
Similar approach to Vincent Lecavalier, and Vanek's thinking shoot the whole way. He's so good at elevating the puck in a hurry. Snaps it up, but Emery gets part of it and sends it up and over the net.
So Claude Giroux now will try to tie this thing up. 3 for 7 this year. And Giroux has just an array of maneuvers. Backhand, and he scores! A beauty from Giroux. He had Nielsen headed toward the corner.
Same type of thing. Trying to get Nielsen moving. Watch, he'll just all of a sudden swoop the backhand like he's going to come right across right here, and then all of a sudden gets Nielsen going one way and got a wide open net coming the other.
Tavares, look at those numbers. 0 for 6 this year. For his career, he's at almost 26%. 0 for 6 means he's due, unfortunately. We'll see. Emery watches him as he swings wide to the right wing and scores.
We saw Patrick Kane yesterday afternoon, 0 for his last 9, bury a big one, and Tavares walks in and gets his first in the last 7 attempts.
That means Matt Reed has to score now to keep this game going. Matt is 0 for 4 this year, so he's due. For his career, 38.5%. He's going to go in from the left side, cut to the middle, and score! They're due.
Get the goalie moving. Once again, Matt Reed's going to drop the shoulder. He's looking for that 5-hole. Oh, that's a 5.5 hole as Nilsson really opened up and Matt Reed cashed in.
So Kyle Oposo, as we go to extra shooters, trying to put the Islanders back on top. 3 for 16 in his career. He goes straight on in and scores.
Lost the puck momentarily and retrieved it in time to make a nice move through the backhand. Watch it slip off the heel there. Gathers it in, and Deeks Emery to the blocker side.
So it's up to Sean Couturier now to keep the Flyers alive. Scored his first ever shootout goal the other night in the Nashville game. 1 for 4 for his career. Has to score. Deeks and cannot score. Nielsen got a piece, and the Islanders win the hockey game. 4-3 is your final. The Islanders avoid a season series sweep at the hands of the Flyers and win via the shootout.
Couturier with that chance, and Nielsen just outweights him, kicks that big leg over. The 6'5" frame comes in handy there, and he ends up getting his first win of the season.
So Nielsen, the backup goaltender, only his 10th National Hockey League game, his 6th this year, gets the job done.
Let's take a look at our Bud Light player of the game. It's Kyle Oposo, picks up an assist there on the Tavares goal. He drops the gloves with Braden Coburn. He's 2/3 of the way to the Gordie Howe hat trick. And then he gets the trick here as he taps that one in for the tying goal. And then the shootout comes around. It's who else? Kyle Oposo. Snubbed from the U.S. Olympic team, but continues to provide a lot of plus games for the New York Islanders.
Gordie Howe hat trick +1.
Yeah.
Kyle Oposo. His first career Gordie Howe hat trick. He brings the Islanders from behind. Turnabout fair play for the Flyers, and they're back in action quickly tomorrow night. Wells Fargo Center against the Carolina Hurricanes. Our coverage on Comcast Sportsnet begins at 6:30. So the Flyers, who have been coming from behind to win games of late, get the lead this time around, but it's the Islanders who come back and get the 2 points. For the entire crew, as well as Keith Jones and Steve Coates, I'm Jim Jackson. Good afternoon from Long Island. Time now. Flyers post-game live presented by McDonald's.